Retaliation is making us wait. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Good morning, everybody. And, we have an issue in last night's game, but let's first talk about the Phillies. The Braves are done. I looked at it last night, and I go, the Braves don't have the lineup the Phillies have. They were coming on. They were playing decent ball. And then I looked at the Braves after Ozzie Albies in the lineup. Look at him. Murphy, the catcher, flat can't hit. Eli White? Who the frick is Eli White? Michael Harris hits eighth now, and their shortstop is now a 166-pounder named Nick Allen. They just don't have the horses to compete with the Phillies. They're a decent team, but the Phils have a way better lineup. Now, that manifested itself last night with Ranger Suarez, who pitched very well, but his ratio ball strikes was not very good. He hit 63 strikes, 40 balls, a lot of 3-2 counts, and the Braves couldn't do anything with him. So the Phillies sent him back out there after 6 innings with 92 pitches. And I'm going, okay, if there's the one thing that we have to continue to harp on, it's the fact that they don't trust anybody to get him through 6 innings, and that the starting pitching has to get him through 6 innings. Now, last night they stretched Ranger Suarez out a little bit. He finished with 103 pitches. Now, that's not normally what you want to do with Ranger Suarez. But there is the weakness. And I've said it yesterday, and I've said it repeatedly. They need to add one more piece in the bullpen, which brings me to the starting rotation as the Phillies go forward. Wheeler and Luzardo have been magnificent. They're your top 2 guys right now. And then you got Sanchez, Suarez, and Nola. Now, Ranger Suarez is pitching well again. Do you risk not keeping him in the starting rotation when playoff time comes? Because, listen, you don't need 5 pitchers. So what are you going to do with Nola? Nola is probably not a good bullpen choice. You probably have to keep him in the rotation. Ranger Suarez is the only guy, in my opinion, who can convert to the bullpen where you do need another left-hander. And if you project and go, okay, Ranger will be the second left-hander with Matt Strahm, and then I have to find a right-handed hammer somewhere along the line, and I'm not going to trade Suarez for it. Bill Colarulo's with us today. Ray Dunn is with us today. Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, good morning, Mike. Good morning, Ray. Watching Ranger battle last night, and just it's bringing back memories over the last couple of seasons of watching him and doing what he does, and we've seen him perform in the postseason. I'm reluctant to trade Ranger away now. I'm reluctant to do it because if you were to trade Ranger away at the deadline for a bullpen piece, it better be a lights-out bullpen piece. Because if you're giving up a guy that we know is a gamer, and not only have we seen Ranger do it as a starting pitcher, we've seen him come out of the pen in the postseason and perform. He just has that mentality where whatever you ask of him, as long as he's healthy, he's going to be able to do it. I don't know if I want to trade Ranger Suarez right now. Now, look, this could all change depending on how Nola looks when he comes back, depending on if you do bring up Andrew Painter in a month or a month and a half, and he's performing at a high level. Because you're right, you only need 4 starters in the postseason, but I think I would rather have Ranger Suarez, who I know in that bullpen, than going out and making a trade for a guy that maybe doesn't have the same level of postseason experience. It would really have to depend on who you're able to get by trading Ranger Suarez.
Let's go with the absolutes, though. The absolutes are this. The Phillies can't win the World Series without another bullpen piece.
I agree.
Do you agree with that absolute?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, so if that's an absolute, I understand your reluctance to trade Ranger Suarez, and I just proposed a different scheme here. But if you could find a guy who also is on a rental situation from another team, that a team goes, well, we're not going to re-sign him anyway, we'll take the chance that we can re-sign a starting pitcher other than a bullpen, so we'll give you this bullpen hammer straight up for Ranger, and both teams then have to worry about it from that point on.
So you're looking at a bullpen piece that's contracts expiring as well.
Yes.
Like a guy who's going to be a free agent.
I think that would have to be the caveat of any kind of trade, that somebody's going to give you a guy. because you're giving that guy for what could be a rental with Ranger Suarez. So if it's a rental for a rental, that would make more sense to the team that's trading that guy.
Exactly, because I had Dawood, one of our avid listeners, tweeted at me this morning saying, hey, would you trade Ranger straight up for Felix Bautista with Baltimore? But if you're the Baltimore Orioles, why would you do that? Suarez is going to be a free agent. Batista's under team control for another 2 years. So I don't think that you're going to do that if you're the Baltimore Orioles.
Unless you think you can re-sign Ranger Suarez. But now, I don't know what his price would be. But he's a premier left-handed starting pitcher, so he's got a high value.
But you would have to be pretty convinced. Like, I would think if I'm a team and I trade for Ranger, are you really going to be convinced that you'll be able to sign him? He's got Scott Boras as his agent. This will be the first time where you can get that real big payday as a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be in a...
Probably not, unless you think the Orioles are having a down year. They had a young team that you thought was going to be a contender, and maybe they ride that thing and say, well, we need that guy anyway. But, that's down the road. At this particular situation, it makes a lot of sense for me to have Suarez be your second left-hander in that pen.
I agree with you. I like the idea of having Suarez as your second left-hander in the pen. And then maybe what you do instead, and I don't love it, but if it's the necessary evil, you trade away a prospect to fix that high-leveraged arm. And you get maybe another right-hander who can throw some heat. It's an interesting dilemma, but at the same time, it's not a bad problem to have right now.
Yeah.
You got an abundance of starting pitchers.
It's not, except when you look last night and you send a guy out with 92 pitches to complete another inning. And then you go, geez, I wish I had a sixth-inning guy I could count on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which they don't have, and you mentioned it earlier. They're pushing all their starters. They're pushing all their starters. But look, it works last night. You go 6 strong from Ranger, and then, boom, Kirkring, 0 earned. Right to Strom, 0 earned. And then how about the Jordan Romano revival tour, Ray?
7th, 8th, and 9. Yeah, I got it. 7th, 8th, and 9. Sometimes you need 6.
Yeah, and in the postseason, what are you going to do? But if you had, I wouldn't mind Ranger Suarez coming out to pitch that 6th inning in the postseason.
In the postseason?
Yeah.
He's over 100 in a midseason game. I listen, I'm not going to complain about it. The Phillies are the better team. You can look at both lineups and go, the Braves pale. They pale now as far as the Phillies go. Now, let's get to the crux of the matter as we get into the break. Retaliation. Bryce Harper gets plunked with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And lucky it was that Spencer Strider is still feeling his oats because that would have been 99 on the elbow, the surgically repaired elbow. That would tick me off as a pitching staff. Now, I know a lot of people go, well, you don't do it in retaliation. You don't have to do it right away. No! It's the first inning. You do it right away. So I look at the top of the second. Who leads off? Ozzie Albies. Down goes Albies. Down goes Albies. Or you wait one more inning, and the second hitter in the third inning is Acuna Jr. Bang goes Acuna. It's 1-0. It's early in the game. You still have plenty of game to play. Now, after the third, no, I don't do it because it looks like it's going to be a 1-0 game for a really long time. But at that moment, Bill, bang! This is Bryce Harper. This isn't Johan Rojas. This is Bryce Harper, surgically repaired elbow. You cannot stand for that.
You and I couldn't be farther apart on this one, man. Like, put the club down, Neanderthal. All right? We're in 2025. Throwing at somebody, to me, we are so past that. See, here's what I don't understand about you, and someone already said this on the YouTube chat. You are so anti-fighting in hockey. So anti-fighting in hockey, which I think is a part of the game, but yet you're calling to throw 100 mile an hour at somebody in baseball? Come on.
He's not throwing 100 mile an hour. He's not throwing 100 mile an hour. Ranger Suarez doesn't throw 100 mile an hour.
All right.
90. He's soft.
90.
He's softer than that. The point is that you have to retaliate to keep your sanity. And you keep bringing this hockey thing up. Hockey is officiated. Baseball is not. That's the difference. Your best player got plunked on the elbow, surgically repaired. Send a statement out. I was listening to your buddy Ricky Metallico last night.
Ricky would have thrown at him.
Right away.
Yeah, Ricky Bo would have thrown
right away.
But let me ask you, do you think Strider did it on purpose?
It doesn't matter.
He didn't
It
do it
doesn't
on
matter
purpose.
that you didn't do it on purpose. You hit the best player in the lineup.
I'm so past that. I think that's
Because
the most ridiculous thing.
You're not a baseball man, Bill. You're a
unwritten
football
rules.
man. You're used to sports with officials who legislate that kind of stuff.
Do you know why they're unwritten rules, Mike? Because if you wrote them down, you'd realize how stupid they are.
Oh, so
that's
fighting's
why.
not stupid.
No.
Fighting's not stupid in hockey. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Retaliation. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Connor Thomas.
My situation here is I'm working with two pacifists. I get two pacifists here. Bill and Ray. Ray, am I right? You're against the retaliation?
Couldn't be more right on this one, Mike.
I knew it. Two pacifists.
Ray, make it make sense to me, though, that Mike is anti-fighting in hockey but pro-throwing at a guy in baseball.
I appreciate you being on my side here. I don't need to start throwing the hockey stuff around here. Just focus on the baseball part of this
I don't understand, though. I don't understand how you could be against fighting.
Because it's ridiculous, okay? Fighting is not part of the sport.
It is part of the sport.
It is not part of the sport. It's ridiculous. That's why there are penalties to prevent it.
Yeah, there's a penalty. You don't immediately get ejected from the game. It's a penalty, which is part of the sport. It's a sport where you have a weapon in your hands.
You hockey guys are all the same. It's the same. Well, fighting is justified. Your sister's ass
here's
is
why,
justified.
Here's why I can support fighting in hockey more than throwing at somebody in baseball. Because if you hit somebody in hockey, you take a cheap shot at somebody in hockey, you personally have to answer for that with a fight. In baseball, Spencer Strider, even if he intentionally threw at Bryce Harper, and then Ranger Suarez comes up and he throws at Ronald Acuna, guess what? Strider and Stranger don't have to answer for it. Neither one of them gets up to the plate. Neither one.
It doesn't matter. This is sticking up for your teammates. This is what a pitcher's role is, to have his teammates back. Well, so if Strider wants to get cute and go, I got to throw hard inside to Bryce Harper. I don't want him extending his arm. You want to get cute? You want to get inside and you hit him in the elbow? His surgically repaired elbow, my best player? Tough. I don't care what your motivation was. I don't care if you didn't want to hit him or not. If you want to try to go in there and you hit my guy, your guy then has to answer, and he has to answer early. Now, I'm not saying that when the game is still in question, late in the game, you don't do it. You save it. In the first inning, you got the perfect opportunity. Top of the second, Ozzie Albies is up. Or if you want to wait to the top of the third, the game is still in question. It's only 1-0. That's when you do it. You don't do it later. You study the situation. I'm not saying be a barbarian.
All right. So let's play it through then. Play it out for me. Strider inadvertently hits Bryce last night. They come back the following inning, and Ranger now throws it, let's say, Acuna.
Okay.
Does that end it?
Yes.
You don't think now the Braves retaliate again, and now we got this whole thing going?
The Braves know why your guy would hit. What are they, idiots?
Does Ranger get tossed?
Bryce Harper was in serious pain. No, you don't get tossed. You get one bite at it. You get the warning after Ranger does it. Then the warning comes out. Umpires know what's up.
So you don't think Ranger would have gotten tossed at that point?
No, absolutely not.
There would have just been warnings to both sides.
Absolutely.
Benches don't clear.
No.
Nothing.
Everybody knows what's up. You hit my best player. Again, if you hit Rojas, it's not a big deal. If you hit your best player, he has to come out of the game. He has to come out of the game there, Bill. What are you kidding me?
It's just, with how fast these guys throw the baseball.
To me, it's just tough.
It's such a dumb unwritten
You get hit
rule.
with pitches all the time. Tough noogies. That's the peril of facing a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You're going to get hit.
Look, you call me a meathead. To me, this is the dumbest thing in baseball, this unwritten
when
rule.
You study it and you put the parameters on it. I have put at least 5 parameters on this. The parameters work perfectly for somebody to get plunked early in that game to settle the score. It's my best player going down in a heap of pain to the point where you have to take him out of the game. Now, if he goes to first base and everything's good, then nothing. Nothing.
Oh, so you don't care that he got hit. You just care that he had to leave the game.
You got to look at the totality of it.
All right, so when Ranger throws at Acuna, is he trying to hurt him?
No.
Is that what you're trying to do?
No,
Eye for eye
here? You're hitting him in the hip. You're hitting him in the ass. You're making the statement. You're not headhunting. You're making a statement to back up your teammate, who's the most important player on the team.
I don't know, man. I just think it's
there,
the dumbest.
dropping the gloves and two guys beating each other up is more justified than what I just said.
Correct.
It's ridiculous.
Correct. The hockey fight to me is more justified than throwing a baseball 100 miles an hour at somebody.
Your sister's rear end. Even Ray, a pacifist, knows that doesn't work either.
Are you anti-hockey fight, Ray?
No. It's wildly entertaining for me. I don't really have a strong take on that.
It's wildly entertaining. But when you look at it, do you not say, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen? Two guys allowed to pound each other.
Imagine if we allowed it in other sports. You just get frustrated, you start fighting guys. I think a little bit of the Neanderthal.
You got your tongue in your cheek. Take it out, Ray.
Yeah.
You got your tongue in your cheek right now. Everybody can see it.
Yeah. I am. To me, they let it happen in hockey. It's entertaining for me. I can't really say I'm against it.
Ray, you're a baseball guy a lot more than Bill. Bill has no idea what the parameters of baseball are.
See, now he's taking a shot. Now he's taking a shot.
But you're both pacifists when it comes to this. Ricky Metallico, that old school baseballer. What was his first reaction?
Ricky Bo would have thrown at him.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ricky Bo would have thrown him.
Bo would have also measured the parameters. If it's a sixth inning, it's a 1-0 game, you don't put a guy on first base. In the second inning, third inning, it's not a big deal.
See, I think there are multi-layers to this. I would be anti-retaliating at all.
Because you're a pacifist.
You would have retaliated.
You come off like a big tough guy, but you're really a pacifist.
I just think it's ridiculous because you talk about being a big tough guy.
You're a dove, not a hawk.
Ranger Suarez gets up there. He throws it
You're
at Cunha.
a dove,
big
Billy.
tough guy. Ranger doesn't have to answer for it. Ranger doesn't have to answer for it. Spencer Strider doesn't have to answer for it. It's the poor guy in the box that has to take a 100-mile-an-hour baseball to his ribs.
I'm a dove. I don't want any baseball policing itself. I'm a dove.
Now, there's a third angle here.
Come on.
I'm against retaliating. You say retaliate immediately. There's also a third school of thought, which is you have time to retaliate. That they didn't have to do it then.
You always have time to retaliate, but that time may never arrive. In the top of the second, it's right there for you. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies beat the Braves. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 2-0 last night over the Braves behind 6 shutout innings from Ranger Suarez, Orion Kirkry, Matt Strom, and Jordan Romano combined for 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. The Phillies were able to scratch across 2 runs despite Bryce Harper being drilled with a fastball by Spencer Strider in the first inning. He was drilled in his surgically repaired elbow. X-rays after the game came back negative, and Rob Thompson was asked post-game about his concern for his superstar.
I don't know. We'll have to reevaluate in the morning, but the X-rays were negative, and he's certainly in a lot of pain. So whenever you're one of your top hitters or your best hitter gets hit like that, there's always some concern, but he's a tough guy too.
Phillies and Braves, weather pending, play again tonight at 6:45. A.J. Smith-Shawver and Zach Wheeler matching up on the mound in that one. Eagles have their second day of OTAs today, and we'll get a chance to hear from offensive coordinator Kevin Patulo at 12:05. We'll carry that presser live for you right here on the Mike Missanelli Show. And tonight, the Fanatic Union on the road against Toronto. First place club kicks off tonight at 7:30. You can tune in to the live call of the game right here on the Fanatic. This update is brought to you by WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private because your personal messages are yours. No one else can hear or see them. Not even WhatsApp. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
People, it's General Knowledge Wednesday.
Oh, we did forget.
It's like because of the day off, it's like forgetting what day your trash goes out.
Yeah, I
Yeah?
actually put my cans out yesterday, but didn't get taken.
because Memorial Day postpones it
Yeah,
today.
I don't know what's going
So
on.
that's what happened to me here with the General Knowledge Wednesday. But it is General Knowledge Wednesday today. And our categories are General Knowledge, Song Title Vocabulary, and NBA MVPs.
Oh,
and
Ray's
the
gonna
grand
dominate.
prize, get this one. A pair of tickets to both days of the Grand Slam Track League. This is pretty interesting. I don't know if you like track. This Saturday and Sunday at Franklin Field at UPenn. Don't miss your favorite runners going head-to-head in the ultimate track showdown for the largest prize pool ever offered in the sport. This is exciting stuff. I used to cover the Penn Relays every year for the Inquirer. And it's exciting. When you come around the home, it's like horse racing. Like you got a big race, you're coming down the home stretch.
Yeah, did you see who's participating in this?
All the big stars.
And one of them, let's see who remembers this, former Philadelphia Eagle.
Jeremy Bloom?
No, close, though. Jerry Bloom was the skier.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was the skier. I know who you mean. The guy, who was it?
Devin Allen.
Devin Allen. That's right. The hurdle guy.
Yeah, so he's competing.
Devin Allen. Single-day combo tickets on sale now at GrandSlamTrack.com. We got a pair of tickets to both days, Saturday and Sunday at Franklin Field. No better track than the Franklin Field track.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So there you go. It's General Knowledge Wednesday. So when we talk about this hot button issue, first of all, Spencer Strider seems like a good enough guy. So let's hear what he had to say after the game.
Certainly not trying to hit him. And yeah, I thought in the moment, I just assumed he had a guard on and, was just pissed that I hit him and then saw him in pain, and that was tough. So I'm definitely relieved that he's okay. And he's one of the best players this century. So he needs to be on the field. It's best for the game. And it's good for us. It's good to compete against him. Of course, I'm not a complete sociopath, so I have some empathy. So, I do feel bad for him to see a person in pain that I caused. So, but I've still got a job to do, and I think try to realize that was one pitch. So certainly not indicative of how I was pitching or how I planned to pitch. And unfortunately, there's even the most accurate guys can let one go here and there, and so I know he knows that, and I hope he knows there's obviously nothing personal. It's not intentional.
Okay.
Glad that he's okay.
I get it. I didn't think it was anything personal either. But again, like I said before, if you want to throw inside on Bryce Harper because you think that's your best offensive weapon against him, and you tuck it a little too far inside, and you hit him in an elbow where he has to get out of the game, it doesn't matter what your intention were. Does not matter, because I guarantee you, when that happened, every Brave on that field, every viable hitter is going, oh, yes, here it comes towards me. And then that way, it's a weapon.
So then you shouldn't even have to throw at him.
No, well,
because he already had the psychological
you should,
warfare.
Because your guy crumbled down, and that should have an impact on a pitcher. You got to protect that guy at that point.
All right, so answer me this, because this is why I can't get past this Neanderthal type of thinking here. All right? Harper gets hit in the elbow. He has to leave the game. We're concerned that he could be injured. What benefit do the Phillies get if Ranger throws at, let's say, Acuna, it hits him in the ribs, he doesn't get hurt, and he goes to first?
What benefit you get?
Where's the benefit?
You get the warning. Be careful, and if you hit our guy, this is what's going to happen. If you hit our best player, to the point, you want to get cute, like I said before, I know Ricky likes the word cute. You want to get cute and try to throw the ball inside, and you tuck it a little too far inside, and you hit him, well, make sure that you don't do that again. And here's what is going to happen if you do. And so there's a quid pro quo there, Bill.
And Strider said something there that did surprise me. Well, one, I'm surprised he said it, but then I'm also surprised. How come Harper doesn't wear an elbow guard? All these guys wear these elbow guards.
Why are you adding stuff that doesn't matter to
I'm
this
just
particular
surprised that when
subject?
he's got this injury, why
so it
isn't
would
he
have
wearing
been
an
okay.
elbow
If
guard?
he had an elbow guard, it would have been okay. Just throw it inside, because that's the best way I want to get him out. Doesn't matter if I hit him. It does. Does matter. He's
it's
your best
baseball.
player.
It's baseball. The pitch got away from him.
The pitch got away from him.
I mean, it did. Was it like his third start back
it,
from
man.
rehab?
All right, listen. You want to play pacifist? Go ahead.
I just think it's
My
it's
eyes,
so
my eyes
archaic.
are wide open.
It's so archaic. It is. It's also this false tough guy. Like, if Ranger would have thrown it at Acuna, was Acuna going to charge
You're
the mound?
such a football meathead.
Come on. You should have to answer
you're
for
such
something.
a football meathead.
It's just
You
easy.
really are.
Like when the pitcher throws at a guy in retaliation, it's like the typical guy at the bar,
It's
like,
the
hold me
way
back, Ray.
Baseball
Ray, hold me
players
back.
police the game.
Hold me
Eye
back.
for an eye, and then it's dropped. But there has to be the second eye. All right, let's go to the phones. Greg in Bethlehem starts us off. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Greg.
It's always nice to see a controversy out there. I I clearly think that retaliation is necessary. I guess you have to determine the specific situation in the game to determine if it's time to do it
Yes,
immediately.
exactly. You measure that out. That's why baseball's a thinking game. You go, okay, yeah, I don't want to put my team in trouble by doing that. That's why I say second inning, third inning at the very least. We got Acuna coming up, and the second hitter in the third inning. You got Albies is coming up as the first hitter in the second inning.
Yeah, that would be the perfect situation. Is that the manager's decision?
No, the manager doesn't want to be complicit in that. It's unspoken. Within the team, it's an unspoken thing. My pitcher is responsible for having my guys back.
So does that make the Phillies team soft? Or
Listen, I don't know why they didn't do it last night. Like, if I'm JT Realmuto, I call for that pitch.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why it didn't happen last night. I'm tired of hearing this. Well, you can do it later. I mean, when you do it later, you do it later. You're going to forget about it. You do it later. There might not be a situation where you can do it later. Last night was a situation where you could do it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the sooner you do it and get it over with, I just think you don't let it fester. You don't want it being on your own players' minds going forward. You just as soon get it over with, and hopefully, not pay the price for putting somebody on first.
Exactly. That's why it's got to be measured. That's why I have all these caveats here. I'm not a full barbarian here. It's you got. I'm saying there's a time. There's a time when you do it. There's a time when you don't do it. All right, Greg, you want to play general knowledge?
Sure.
All right, Gregor. This is a general knowledge category. You versus Ray. What ballet features the song "The Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy"? Oh, a little Christmas special there.
Nice one. I thought this was
Yeah.
fairly easy, Greg.
I thought it would be
I wish-
easy, too, for Greg.
I don't know.
Oh, Greg, you're out.
Little nutcracker.
The Nutcracker. Even Ray knew that one, right,
Yeah,
Ray?
even I knew that one.
Yeah.
When you went ballet, I was like, I'm screwed.
All right, Ray. What was the worst nuclear accident of all time?
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh crap. What's the place called? Watched the whole special on this. Something I've actually watched.
Oh, the HBO one.
Oh crap. This is unfortunate. This is a point that I'm going to leave on the board. It's not from a lack of knowing. It's from a lack of. I can see the abandoned park. I can see the abandoned hospital. I can hear the hushed tones.
Ray, where is it?
That's really where I'm trying to grab right
Where did it
here.
happen? Where did it happen, Ray?
I know. That's the unfortunate part of this.
Oh, Ray.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Very
buzz it.
disappointing.
Oh, it's Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. Damn. Oh.
Come on, Ray.
All right, I'm done. This is a loss.
Listen, Ray, it's early.
Nope,
This
is a loss.
It's 0-0.
Bad omen for the rest of the day.
No harm, no foul. Just like retaliation.
Well,
Even
some harm.
Steven. 610-632-0975. On the other side, out of the chat board, has to be humming about this, whether it's anti-Bill or anti-Mike, and the text board as well. So we'll get to that after this. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show. General Knowledge Wednesday. Having a lot of fun today. We're back after this.
Philadelphia Union.
Show 97.5 The Fanatic. It does not look good for tonight's game, by the way. I'm looking at this guy is a Major League Weather. He puts out a Major League Baseball weather report for every game, and he puts it like in yellow or green or whatever, and orange and red. And when you're in a red, you're done. Atlanta at Philadelphia. It legitimately rains all day long in Philly, and that includes before, during, and after the scheduled game time. If it was just light to moderate rain during the game, I'd say maybe they'd play it wet, but it's rain all damn day plus light to moderate rain during the game, and I think that's just too much rain in total. There is a decent chance of an early PPD issued here.
What would be the plan, though? Because I don't think you're squeezing in a doubleheader tomorrow because it's supposed to be crappy weather again tomorrow.
Well,
I guess maybe later in the season.
Year.
You may not get tomorrow's game in either.
Labor Day weekend. Get ready.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so Bill, what's the chat saying? the chat is on fire.
I would say that the chat is pretty split down the middle on whether or not the Phillies should have retaliated. A lot of people, though, are questioning you being so pro-retaliating in baseball and so anti-fighting in hockey.
Let me explain something to you hockey geeks. When two guys are beating the hell out of each other in a fight and the officials are standing around watching the fight, you do not think that's ridiculous? In any other sport, would that ever happen?
No, but it's a part of the sport.
It's not a part of the sport.
It's a part of the sport.
Why? Why is it a part of the sport to watch two guys beat the hell out of each other? What are we, the WWE?
It's because exactly what you are preaching in baseball about how, you have to be held accountable and you got to you retaliate because somebody came inside on your guy. The same thing applies in hockey, dude. When you're and people are talking about this, how you have a stick in your hand. When you're moving at that high of speeds with the skates on and you could really injure people with the stick. There could be serious injuries. They self-govern a little bit. There's penalties.
This is a feeble attempt by you to allow for idiocy.
It's not idiocy. There's a great reason why fighting has always been in hockey. Look, if they wanted to get rid of it entirely, the moment you fought, you'd be ejected and suspended.
How come in college you can't do it? That's some automatic ejection. How come?
Because it's not professional.
It's not professional. Oh,
no, I'm saying it's not a professional sport.
No, it's not a professional sport. Oh, okay. All right.
That may be your only good argument.
I thought it was justified.
That may be.
It's had such a place in the game. You would think they would do it at a high-level college level.
It does help govern the game.
Oh, sure.
It does. I think it avoids certain
another
injuries.
way you've been brainwashed as a Flyer fan. Growing up in this town where fighting was reigned supreme for so many years, you were brought up in that culture, and you can't let it go.
Now, look, I'm not calling for Broad Street Bully days, but there are certain times where fighting has true value in the professional sport of ice.
Your
hockey.
sister, Keister.
It does.
All right, your sister.
Well, let me ask you, what do you think is more likely to cause injury? A 100-mile-an-hour fastball at somebody's head?
It doesn't matter
or a
what's
hockey
going to
fight?
cause injury. You're not throwing at somebody's head. You always embellish the point. I'm not throwing at anybody's head. That's a taboo totally.
I don't like
Ray
it.
wanted to say something. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, so to be clear here, Mike is pro-throw at someone, anti-fight.
Correct.
You are pro-fight, anti-throw at someone.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
Good.
Yeah. They may feel like they're completely opposite arguments, but to me, they're not.
Yeah, let me tell you something. When Bryce Harper got hit, did you experience shock value when he got hit like that?
Yeah, I mean, I was concerned about it.
What do you think a player feels then?
Yeah, but my immediate reaction wasn't that Strider did it intentionally. You could see it on his face. The ball got away from him.
It doesn't matter if it's intentional. You paid a piper for taking a chance.
Okay, who pays the piper? You're proving my point. Who pays the piper?
The best player pays the piper.
Exactly. So Spencer Strider, who throws high and inside, doesn't have to answer to anybody.
Exactly.
That's what bothers me about it.
That's the way it
goes.
goes.
It's a false tough guy bravado.
They took the pitcher out of play. So the next best thing is you got to hit the star player. Your star player got hit.
Now, guess
what? Are you oblivious to this?
Now, guess what? If that was on the ice hockey rink and Spencer Strider took a shot at the Flyers' best player? Spencer Strider's got to drop the gloves. He has to answer.
You're macho and a pacifist at the same time.
I'm just saying, there's nothing about throwing at a guy to me that makes any sense.
You don't understand the game.
I
That's
do
why
understand.
You don't.
These stupid
you don't
unwritten
have baseball
rules.
experience.
The unwritten rules.
You've never been around baseball. You've been a football guy.
Unwritten rules. Because they're dumb.
610-632-0975. Let's go to the text board. What's the text board saying?
Text board is more angry and more wants to see someone get hit than I think our chat board is. Intent of pitch doesn't matter. Intent of hit in NHL doesn't matter. You hit a star player of a certain way or in a certain amount, you will be hit. And then if it goes past that, there's a fight. That's the same as pitches going back and forth at players. Messages need to be sent.
And again, I go, here's the limited way they can be sent. Like, again, do you hear me say if it was sixth inning, it's 1-0, do you hit a guy? No. Then you save it. All right? But early on, that shock value of him getting hit, and he's out of the game, bang, you take care of it right away.
We got another one here. Nick and Manioc. Mike is 100% right on this one. Retaliation is one of the unwritten rules of baseball. It's not about being tough. It's about sticking up for your guy.
Exactly.
Okay.
The text board is very smart.
But here's where I keep going back to. You agree that you don't think it was intentional by Spencer Strider. So what is we talking about? Sticking up for your guy.
You know what
did he do?
You know what was intentional? Trying to throw inside to curb his effectiveness to get his arms. That's intentional. So when you have that intentional thought, if you stray from that line and it hits a guy to the point where he's getting out of the game, then you got to pay the piper. Your methodology is to throw inside in that situation. The pitch didn't get away from you. You were trying to throw inside to keep his arms from being extended. That was your mission against Bryce Harper. You hit him, you pay. All right, let's go to the phones. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We got Chuck of Havertown. We got Matt, Port Richmond, and anybody else. Well, Matt wants to talk about hockey fighting and how justified it is. Probably. It's the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies beat the Braves. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 2-0 last night over the Braves behind 6 shutout innings from Ranger Suarez. Orion Kirkering, Matt Strom, and Jordan Romano combined for 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. The Phillies were able to scratch across 2 runs despite Bryce Harper being drilled with a fastball in his surgically repaired elbow in the first inning. He left the game. X-rays after the game came back negative, and Rob Thompson was asked postgame about his concern for his superstar.
I don't know. We'll have to reevaluate in the morning, but the X-rays were negative, and he's certainly in a lot of pain. So whenever one of your top hitters or your best hitter gets hit like that, there's always some concern, but he's a tough guy too.
The Phillies Braves, weather pending, play again tonight at 6:45. AJ Smith-Shawver and Zach Wheeler matching up on the mound in that one. Eagles have their second day of OTAs today, and we'll get a chance to hear from offensive coordinator Kevin Patulo coming up at 12:05. We'll carry that presser live for you right here on the Mike Missanelli Show. And tonight on the Fanatic, the Union on the road against Toronto. The first place club kicks things off at 7:30. You can listen to the live broadcast of the game right here on the Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like the 2025 E-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE Sedan. Hurry in now through July 31st. Learn more at MBUSA.com/dream. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, let me ask you a question, Mr. Hockey. When fighting in hockey has a purpose, how about Matt Rempe dropping the gloves right at the puck drop? How about the night the Rangers and the Devils, before the puck was dropped and all eight on the ice fought? How you like that?
I'm sure there was a reason for it.
Oh, there was a reason.
Yeah.
Like, that's not barbarian.
No, I'm sure there was some reason why.
I'm sure there was some reason.
Something had occurred in a prior game, and you got to answer for it.
All right.
Look, I'm calling you a Neanderthal and all that, but like at times I think it's justified that you should have to answer for your actions. I just don't understand how Strider inadvertently hitting Harper, how he's answering for his actions by Ranger then throwing at a guy on the Braves. It just doesn't correlate.
Because then the pitcher goes, okay, one of my guys is going to get hit. If I get a little too cute and come inside a little too far, and that happens to hit the guy's elbow, you put the rest of your teammates at peril. That's what the deterrent is.
The pitch got away from him, all right?
Didn't get away from him. It was an inside pitch. He was trying to throw inside. It wasn't like it was a crazy wild pitch. He was trying to throw inside. He tucked it a little too far inside. The ramifications of that, you hit the best player and forced him out of the game. Tough noogies. It doesn't matter that the pitch got away from you.
And then the other part where you and I disagree is I'm not so sure if Ranger comes back the next inning and he throws at Acuna that he's not ejected immediately.
He wouldn't be ejected.
I think he would have been ejected. It would have been so obvious as to what he did.
A warning would have been issued after a Strider hit him, and at that point he would have been ejected. Unless Ranger then throws at a guy's head where it's completely clear that he's headhunting, then maybe there was discretion to throw him out of the game. He wouldn't have got thrown out of the game for hitting Ozzie Albies in the knee.
Can you guarantee that?
Yes.
I cannot guarantee.
There's no way that they're going to throw a starting pitcher out of the game that early after knowing what happened to Harper.
If it was that obvious, exactly, knowing what happened to Harper, it would have been so obvious that it was intentional. There's a chance Ranger gets thrown out, and now you screw yourself for the whole series.
Know the game. They give you discretion. They go, okay, we can allow one dog bite back here.
Not anymore, dude.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe in 1930.
This is going to be a long day.
First-time texter here. I definitely believe in an eye for an eye. Relax with the retaliation right away. It's a 3-game series. It'll happen.
Yeah, but again, it might not happen. This is the point. When you have an opportunity and it's there for you, you take it and you move on. You don't have to linger it. You might not get the opportunity, and then you rue the day you had the opportunity pass you by.
Yeah, we're living by the code of Hammurabi from 1750 BC.
Unwritten baseball rules are
showing off Hammurabi. It's the smartest thing he's ever said here.
I saw where it's the statue where it's written in. It's in the Louvre in Paris, Mike. I've seen it with my own eyes. But that's the code we live by.
All of a sudden, Mr. Culture. Now, all of a sudden.
Very cultured.
Yeah.
But fighting in hockey should be allowed.
Surprised they let you in the Louvre. Texter John V.
Barbarian alert!
Today you're the barbarian.
You have to go through the barbarian tunnel.
Today Mike is the barbarian.
Metal detector!
Should we let him in?
Cement head!
Right, you
cement
see,
detector!
Like, he really needs material. You had to float more material his way?
I don't think it was a metal detector. I think it's a meathead detector.
You really had to float more?
Meathead detector!
I know.
We've been working together enough. I think I know where to feed.
And I'm the one with the level head today. I don't get it.
Mr. Louvre of a sudden.
Been there a couple times, actually.
Excuse us.
Couple times.
Excuse-moi. What a free trip to Paris. 632-0975. You're listening to Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. And, of course, we're broadcasting here from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. It is General Knowledge Wednesday, so all the people today win a general knowledge question. You're playing for a really good prize today, I must say. It is that track league, that new track league. It was started by Michael Johnson, wasn't it? This thing,
the gold shoes, right? Did Michael Johnson wear the gold shoes in the Olympics?
Yeah, I think he did. Michael Johnson, 200-meter champ, I think.
Yeah,
was behind this whole thing.
Did you ever run track or anything? Did you do that?
I actually was fast when I was so I did dabble in a little track, but that was during baseball season.
Right? Were you a track star?
Of course I was. Well, stars are wrong.
Ray was.
Well, he did cross country,
a distance runner.
but I don't know if he did track
Did you
as
do
well.
the
Ray looks like a javelin
5,000
thrower.
meters.
He looks like a javelin thrower.
I did throw the javelin.
I knew it.
Did you run the mile?
No.
Did you run the mile during track season? Because cross country season's during the fall, right?
Yeah, did the mile, 2 mile.
Did you?
Yeah. Not
You-
well. Not well,
No?
but no, I did run it. Yeah.
What's the training like for that, Ray?
Obnoxious.
Yeah, it is. It's like
Annoying.
every day you got to run like 5 miles, right?
Yeah, that or the short. We did like 400 training, where we did like 10-4. 10-4 day was a day where there was a few times after like 3 or 4 fours, I was like, you know what? I think the trainer needs to check out my ankle, my hamstring, my hydration level. I need to get out of here.
All right, just to break the mode here, I want to start the 11 o'clock hour, right? Get the rim shot ready.
Oh, I feel like it's coming at me here.
No, it's not coming to you.
All right, good.
Did you see where America's gymnastics sweetheart from the past, Mary Lou Retton, got arrested for a DUI?
I did not see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
You know what they made her do for her sobriety test? Walk a straight line on the balance beam and then stick the landing. Yeah.
Mike's been thinking about that all night. He was laying in bed on how can I make this into a joke.
You
I
don't get
figured
this
out-
reference, but for him, he had his Seinfeld moment. He rolled over in bed, wrote it down on a napkin. He's been waiting for that one all morning.
I had to do it just to break the tension. Let's go to Chuck in Havertown. Chuck, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Chuck,
Hey, good morning, everybody.
What's up, Chuck?
Good morning, all.
how you doing?
The retaliation is definitely is necessary. You know, I mean, you threw at her, and again, he says he didn't do it intentionally. I'm sure he didn't want to hurt him, but that's Bryce Harper, and do you think, Mike, it's too late, or
No. They may save the moment. I don't know. I'm reacting to the moment of last night, and I go, okay, this is the first inning, and my guy's out of the game, and that's shock value to the rest of the team. And if I'm the pitcher, I go, I got my guys back. So I go, I don't want to put my team in peril here. It's a 1-0 game, so I can do it early. Actually, he could have done it with the score 0-0. And that was Albies that led off. I wouldn't waste my time on a scrub, but Albies was the first hitter in the second inning.
Yeah, I don't know if management has more. I know you say that the players know to do it.
Yeah, they should know.
They should know, and I think they do. But I wonder if the manager gets involved. Wait, don't do it until we're.
No, I'm telling you, the managers don't say anything about it. They trust their players to handle something like that. And Thompson probably trusted his pitcher that, okay, Ranger doesn't feel like doing it, so maybe a little later somebody else will feel the responsibility.
Do you think it? I heard someone else saying it'll still. These teams have a history. I think. Well, they're a rivalry, so I think it will happen. Maybe not this week because of the weather, but
yeah, the Braves need the Braves. There is a looming payback here. The Phillies now have it in the bank. If they want to use it, they use it. If not, all right, then baseball's changed.
Yeah, well, I think it's coming.
All right, Chucky. Now, Chuck, general knowledge, song title vocabulary. Here's the thing. Every answer is one word. It's the name of the song. But I'm going to give you the act and the definition of the song title. So if I say Olivia Newton-John, and the definition of the one-word song title is pertaining to the body. Well, what was her hit?
I know. Physical.
There you go.
Yes, I want to get physical.
I walked you through that one. All right, let me put you
That
on
was a little
hold
easy.
here.
Are you going to hum them all? Is it
No,
name that tune?
this might be tough for people to get the hang of. But then now it's Ray. Ray. The musical act is Bruno Mars. The definition of the one-word song title is small explosive device designed for throwing.
Grenade.
There you go. See, that was easy for Ray.
That was easy for Ray.
That was like childhood pop station right there.
There you go. So it's 1-1, Odd and Ray.
I think Ray should have to sing a lyric as well. You should have to sing a line to get the credit.
You're the singer of this show. I wouldn't want to steal your thunder.
The last thing Ray would ever do
is sing?
is sing a lyric.
The only time we got him to sing was when the Eagles won the NFC Championship, he did sing Sirianni Love. Those are the only 2 words you've ever sang.
I don't sing in the daylight. Let's put it that way.
You sing in the shower when you're by yourself?
No. No, I do play music in the shower, but I usually let the artists that are paid, that are making money off my streams, handle the singing part of it.
So what do you got? You got a waterproof radio in there, waterproof speaker, or you bringing in the phone into the shower?
Yeah, but you're just not putting it in the line of the water. I got shelves there, you know.
You gotta be careful though; it splatters. Because I've always wondered that too. If I'm like listening to something,
it's not electrically plugged in.
no, but you don't want to ruin the phone. I mean, I know it's waterproof.
Are you like cupping water and throwing it up in the
Yeah,
air? You LeBron and entering the game with
about
the
a
white
shock
chalk?
or what?
Like, what are we
Well,
doing here?
one of my favorite things about my house is our water pressure. Very strong water pressure. So it splatters a lot though when it hits the body.
I'll be honest with you. It's one of the things I'm most concerned about with this move. Great water pressure at the
Yes.
apartment we've been renting. If the water pressure is not good at the next apartment, I don't know what I'll do.
I know, like
low flow.
Low
I don't
flow?
like the sound of
no,
that.
like we went down the shore this
Maybe your
weekend.
shower head.
We went from extreme water pressure to just kind of like average water pressure down the shore. It feels terrible to take a shower now.
I'll say, down the shore, the water pressure there actually a little too strong for me.
Really? What is
Yeah.
this? A Jersey thing?
You can't have strong enough water pressure.
They got
No.
strong water in Jersey. Strong
I
water
don't know.
power.
I think it just depends on the.
I don't
house.
have it in my shore. Down the shore, it's my flow is not strong.
Well, you probably cheaped out on the plumbing.
No, I
Don't you think, Ray?
I got,
Mike
I
cheaped
got
out.
a waterfall shower head.
I also might say I think it was the sunburn that probably made the water pressure feel a little bit too strong.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was burned.
definitely.
a little burnt.
Have you
there.
recovered yet from that?
I'm wearing looser shoes today, and that's because the feet still haven't really recovered.
Oh, your feet got burned
Oh,
too.
yeah. It's been painful.
Ray, you got to be careful. All seriously.
The
yes,
top of your
thank
feet?
you.
Top of your
Top
feet.
of the feet.
Yeah.
How much was your mom yelling at you about this?
Mom, grandparents,
Yeah, they
my
get very
siblings
worried.
got shots in there about it. I mean, just anyone that I ran into was,
You got to be careful, Ray.
did you not put on sunscreen? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right?
You're fair complexion.
I'm feeling the pain of it.
Bill, in case you didn't hear it, Mary Lou Retton had to walk a straight line on a balance beam. I was waiting for a little bit of a laugh.
Very good, Ray. Or Mike.
610-632-0975. We got Ian, Matt, and Landon on hold. We'll get to your callers. I want to hear Matt pour Richmond with the hockey fighting. I know this is a justification of hockey fighting. And that goon, Matt Rempe. Jesus. You think that cheapens the sport, Bill?
Not at all.
Oh, God. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
We want to hear from you. So text
11, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. What are you supposed to do at 11:11? Make a wish, right?
Or wish you a happy birthday.
No. I mean, in the current moment.
Yeah.
Like when 11:11 comes on the clock. Supposed to make a wish?
Yes, I think so. You know what else, as we're talking 11:11, that I heard today? I forget what it's called, but the date written out forward and backward is the same today.
Oh, is that right?
It's 5/28/25, and if you do it backwards, it's 5/28/25.
So wasn't that all week?
No.
Wait, I'm confused. What do you mean backwards? Like
It's
5/28/25.
Oh, yeah.
It's all week, right?
That would be all week.
20.
Is it
25?
all May? All of May?
No.
Only from the 20th to the 29th.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, all week.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
So the date 5/28/25. If you flip that
5/28/25.
around,
There we
it
go.
still is 5/28/25.
Yeah, so they're saying it's 10 lucky days in a row because it's the palindrome dates.
Oh, I see. If you
Yeah. So from May 20th to May 29th, we are a palindrome.
There you go.
So it's supposed to be lucky all week. Not so lucky for Bryce Harper, though.
You're a palindrome. All right, so here's the deal. Here's what we're talking about. A couple conclusions from last night, right? One is the Braves, forget about them. At one point I thought, well, maybe they got enough steam to get back in the race. They don't. They're going to have to settle. They're going to scramble for a wild card. They don't have the lineup the Phillies have. They're depleted. I'm looking at their lineup after Albies. I'm going, Jesus, they got nothing. They got nothing below there. And their staff, Strider, he's still coming back. So I don't know if he's ever going to be the Strider that we've seen. It may take him a whole year to get there. So that's another slight against them. And then last night, when we saw the retaliation thing, the conclusion that I have was it should have been done early. It should have been done as early as the second inning. Albies should have been the first guy that they threw at. And if you didn't want to throw in that inning because you got the bottom of their order coming up, well, see, to me, that's when you throw. Because even if you put Albies on base, those guys aren't going to hurt you. But if you want to save it for Acuna, because Acuna is akin to Harper, I would have done it then. In the middle innings, you don't. It's a close game. You can't afford to put a guy on a base at that point.
And you're saying, though, you don't think it's over with. If they were to play tonight, there's a chance they would throw out.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the Phillies would perceive that. I know that how players look at that and go, that's a shock value when your guy has to be taken out of the game and you don't know what's going on. Like you don't know if it's a fracture, whatever. At that point, that thing lingers, and I don't care what Strider's intention was. You go, okay, I got to make this even. One of your guys goes down early in that game. You can't be messing around with our guy.
But see, this is where you're losing me. I'm against throwing at anybody, but here's where you're losing me because you're saying the only reason they should have thrown at Acuna or another guy on the Braves was because Harper got hurt.
No, I'm saying that.
What if
your
Harper didn't get
star
hurt?
Player got plunked. You don't know if he got hurt. He got taken out of the game.
All right, but what if he didn't?
Well,
what if he just went to first?
If he went to first base, it mitigates it a little bit.
So you, at that point, because Harper's still in the game. See, this is, again, I keep making the hockey reference.
It's just like blood.
That's what I was going to say. You're very anti-blood.
But no. There's an extra penalty for blood.
Yeah, you don't like that.
Well, there's an extra penalty for him getting out of the game.
But you hate that rule.
Thing.
You hate that it's a 2-minute penalty with no blood. 4-minute penalty with blood.
But that's ridiculous because it's legislated by officials. This is, you take it under your own hands.
I agree with you on the blood.
All right.
I think that's a stupid rule, but this is similar to that rule. That's what I was trying to...
General knowledge today. Pair of tickets to both days of the Grand Slam Track League, this new track league, which is really exciting. I mean, a lot of people go, my two least favorite sports are track and field. Well, the fact of the matter is, it's very exciting.
Another rim shot.
This Saturday and Sunday at Franklin Field at University of Pennsylvania campus. Don't miss your favorite runners going head-to-head in the Ultimate Track Showdown. Listen, the Penn Relay sells out every year. So there's a lot of excitement for track in this city.
Yeah, this will be cool. I think it'll be cool. And look, you can't beat the price. If you win, it's free. So why wouldn't you go?
I actually ran in the Penn Relays.
Is this another joke?
No.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for the punchline, right?
There was a media race, and the Inquirer had a 4-man team.
Who was on that team?
I believe Sal Powell was on that team with me. And then we had a photographer named Ron Tarver who was like a cheetah.
Yeah.
And I forget who was the fourth. But it was a relay.
Did you win?
I don't know if we won.
Can we bring this back?
Made a finish in second.
Who would win if we did a race between all three shows?
Oh, I'm done right now. I can't run.
I think we have a shot. I think you're faster than Kincade,
I would be faster.
right? So then that would mean Ray would just have to beat Salciunas, and
Well, I
would,
don't know about that.
or a B gun.
Salciunas is in better shape than I am.
Yeah, and then
Salciunas downplays how much he
might
actually
be-
works on his body.
He might be in sprint shape.
I think we could win that race.
No, he's in endurance shape. He said the other day when we were talking about Broad Street, so, I ran 10 miles on Saturday. I was like, for what? For who? Who you running 10 miles for?
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but
You got a wife, you got a kid, you're good.
Yeah, the crowds were just roaring as we came around the street. I think I was the second leg. So I had to run a curve. And then our straightaway guy, I think we finished second. I don't know who beat us.
You're lucky you didn't blow
Yeah.
a hammy, man.
Yeah, well, I was young then. That's when I was my newspaper days. I was still a Colt.
You were still MG, Missanelli, at that point?
I was still MG. All right, let's get back to the phones. We got Matt in Port Richmond wants to talk about hockey fighting. I've been anticipating this call. Matt, go ahead, buddy.
Hey guys, first time caller.
Thanks, Matt.
I tell you what, Mike, you take too many days off, man.
What?
Yeah, you make my day. Really, you guys are like Abbott Costello. I love it. And when you're out, I can't stand it when you're not in. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on now.
Yeah. Bill can't handle it by himself. He just can't hang, man. He needs a bounce stick. You know what I mean?
Mike's taken like 1 day off in the last 6 months.
I
What are you
have.
talking
I have
about?
1 day off.
What are you talking about?
1 day off. When did I take it? Friday. I took it. No. Yeah, Friday. I took.
You take a day off about every 2 weeks.
No, I don't.
Kill my Fridays. Like,
All right.
what?
Go ahead. What's your hockey fighting point?
Anyway, I got to get to the hockey
Yeah,
thing.
go ahead.
Growing up, we played every sport out in the street, every day. Whatever season it was, we're playing. And hockey, we were big Flyers fans. I mean, when they were winning 2 Stanley Cups and stuff. And what happened was, we understood the fight, but like about a month ago, I catch this news clip. Well, there's a fight in hockey. I don't watch it much in passing here and there, changing channels. And the guys dropped their gloves and they started wailing on each other. And I just couldn't believe it. I called my wife in the room. I said, these guys are still doing this? I could not believe the refs are standing.
It's 2025, Matt. It's the year 2025.
Yeah, they're wailing on each
I
other.
know.
I couldn't even watch
And the
it.
officials let him go. We got to let them burn themselves out.
Yeah, they're like barbarians.
It's ridiculous.
I can't believe they're still doing this in this sport. That's unbelievable. Yo, Bill, where you at?
All right, well, let me ask you. Would you have been in favor, though, of Ranger throwing at a Braves player last night?
That's a silly question. He's just getting back. I mean, come on, man. It's got to be done. They're not wailing on each other.
It's one shot. It's a message to the hip, to the buttock, somewhere.
He nips him.
Yeah, exactly.
Lets him know he's there. What's going on?
That's the message. They're not wailing on each other, Matt. You're absolutely right.
You got these guys wailing on each other. It was like, I can't even watch boxing anymore. I'm at that age, like, they're beating each other. I don't like doing boxing like I used to. Come on, Bill. Like
Come on, Bill.
out there like,
All right, listen. Hey, you want
there's two grown men two grown men that are supposed to be watching what's going on and governing it. They're standing there watching.
I hear you. It's ridiculous in this day and age. All right, now, Matt, let me give you a general knowledge question. All right,
music.
No, it's not the music question. It's the NBA MVPs quiz.
Go
All
ahead.
right, in the year 2002 and 2003. 2 years after Allen Iverson won it, this man won 2 straight MVPs for a team from the Western Conference and in the Southwest area of this country.
Shaq.
Who?
Shaq.
No, it was not Shaq. Sorry about that, buddy. All right, Matt. It was not Shaq. Should I give the same one to Ray?
I think Ray would get all these.
Ray?
I'm interested to see if this is the man that Shaq says stole his MVPs. Is it Steve Nash?
It is not Steve Nash.
Good guess, though, Ray.
But he did win it twice, but not then.
Was it? He was what, 5 and 6?
He was 5 and 6.
Ugh.
The numbers 2 and 3. Who was it, Ray?
Numbers 2 and 3.
Southwest State.
Southwest State. There's a couple of them. I think who in the
This
Southwest.
is going to be how you're going to kick yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to kick myself for sure on this one, but I'm trying to think Southwest. Southwest, immediately my mind goes to Arizona.
No, is it San Antonio?
Move it to San Antonio.
Then you know who it is.
Oh.
San Antonio.
All right, well, I don't deserve that.
Tim A.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan. All right, 610-632-0975. My man came up big for me with the hockey argument.
That was a ridiculous
I thought he was
call.
going the other way.
Ridiculous call. You haven't taken a day off. You took one day in 6 months.
One day, when I wasn't focused on that. I was focused. These guys still beating the hell out of each other in this day and age.
I couldn't get past that. Also, John Kincade weighed in. Says you would beat him in a sprint, but he would take you in a 5K every day of the week.
Yeah, I wouldn't run 5K. I couldn't even spell 5K if you spotted me at a K. And nor do I care to run 5K ever in my life.
If you want to duck John Kincade, that's on you, dude.
5K?
You're ducking him.
He wants to sprint?
I don't know. 5K.
I'll sprint him.
It's a little over 3 miles,
Mike
Ray.
Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies beat the Braves. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 2-0 last night over the Braves behind 6 shutout innings from Ranger Suarez, Orion Kirkering, Matt Strahm, and Jordan Romano combined for 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. The Phillies were able to scratch across 2 runs despite Bryce Harper being drilled with a fastball in the elbow, that surgically repaired elbow, which forced him to leave the game in the first inning. X-rays after the game came back negative, and Rob Thompson was asked postgame about his concern for his superstar.
I don't know. We'll have to reevaluate in the morning, but the X-rays were negative, and he's certainly in a lot of pain. So whenever one of your top hitters or your best hitter gets hit like that, there's always some concern. But he's a tough guy too.
Phillies and Braves, weather pending, play again tonight at 6:45. The A.J. Smith-Shawver and Zach Wheeler matching up on the mound. The Eagles have their second day of OTAs today. We'll get a chance to hear from offensive coordinator Kevin Patulo coming up at 12:05. We will carry that presser live for you right here on the Mike Missanelli Show and on the Fanatic tonight. The Union on the road against Toronto First Place Club kicks off tonight at 7:30. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Erie Insurance, celebrating 100 years of protecting your family's most priceless moments. Then, now, always Erie Insurance, ErieInsurance.com. That's ErieInsurance.com. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5TheFanatic.com.
A little bit later in the show, I'll detail Tony Dungy's opposition to the tush push. Man, he didn't like it. And Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, did you see what happened there?
I did not.
His wife shoved him in the face as the airplane was, as they were about to disembark from an airplane. They had a little squabble.
Do we know what he did?
Well, no, I don't know
why she pushed him?
But they had a lip reader come in to read French on what was said by him and her after this little squabble. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Traveling can be stressful.
Well, you know what the story with that is, right? She's 72, and he's like, 40.
Oh, really? That's right. Yeah, he's got the older wife.
And he met her. Wait, let me see if I got this right. He was a student, 15-year-old student, in a class that she was a teacher way back in the day.
A little strange.
Well, yeah, they didn't meet until later to get married, but when they were adults. But
so they didn't have a relationship when he was a kid.
No.
They met later.
But that
happens sometimes.
What does?
Where a student and a teacher meet later in life. I've seen that before.
72?
That's a little drastic. But when, was he 25 and she was
60?
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, we don't have any age gap relationships in America that have got our
usually
attention.
It works the other way, doesn't it?
Yeah, we usually works Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick style.
Right.
Not this one.
Anyway, we'll give you the details on that in a little bit. We go back to the phones here because, let's see, Ian in West Philly. Oh, no, Landon in Perkins, he's been hanging. Landon, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Landon?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
My question for you guys was, would it be better for the Phillies to go out and ambush Smith Shawner, or whatever his name is, tonight, since they did not hit the Braves player yesterday?
What do you mean ambushed? You talking about Shawver, the pitcher tonight?
To get him out. Yeah, try to get him out early.
What do you mean ambush?
Attack. Well, sorry, not ambush. More attack and
you mean
try to score runs early.
I'm sure they do that every game to try to score runs against the pitcher. Yeah, what would they do? Put special effort into doing that? Baseball's not. I don't think it's special effort type of game.
Just make it because the batters today could, yesterday they were doing fine yesterday. The bats were somewhat alive. They were getting hits here and there, but
I don't know, Landon. You can click a switch, and I don't know. Hitting is not clicking a switch. Hitting is just you take a shot.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think it would be good for them to just kind of show that it does kind of show class, because they didn't go after him. They were they kept their composure and just finished the game out with the win. Mm-hmm. But it would be nice to see them maybe kind of put it in their face with a high scoring game today for
no, that would be very nice. That'd be a nice answer. I don't know if it would erase the fact that your best player got dinged and he's probably not going to play tonight.
True. That's not very good, but knowing Bryce, he'll probably be back by Friday.
Yeah, he'll be back. It's a bruise, but he's not playing tonight probably, and it's going to get rained out tonight anyway.
So who would start in his place then?
Well, they probably would play Sosa at third and have Bohm play first.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what they did last night.
So, another question.
Yes, sir.
Would it be fair to say that most of our competition for the rest of the season would come from outside of the NL, as we have done a very good job at beating the highly competitive teams like the Dodgers and the
They haven't really beaten the Mets.
Yeah, but they're kind of beating themselves up right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Bill, would you like to let you take this?
Yeah, I'm still concerned about the Mets. I think the Phillies are a better team, but Mets have won 4 in a row and are only a game and a half back of the Phils. I'm not ready to rule them out You're still going to have to win the NL East. It's not going to be easy.
Would you like a general knowledge question, Landon?
Yeah.
Okay, Landon. Here we go. What well-known video game was created in Moscow in 1984? One of the early video games.
Loved this game.
Let's see. It's not Tetris, is it?
It is Tetris.
Good guess, Landon.
Oh, hold on a second. Landon coming up big with Tetris.
Yes.
Now, how'd you know that was invented in Moscow?
Because there's a whole documentary about it. Or not
really?
a documentary, a show, like a docuseries.
Really?
I think it's called Tetris.
And you watched the documentary on the game?
No, but I
Tetris?
saw the coming attraction. I saw the trailer. I think it was on Apple TV.
Oh.
And I've seen the trailer.
All right. Let's go to...
Oh, it's a movie. It's actually a movie.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
Tetris? Who starred in it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There's a movie?
It says Hank Rogers discovers Tetris in 1988 and then risks everything by traveling to the Soviet Union, where he joins forces with inventor Alexei Pajitnov to bring the game to the masses.
Why did he go to Moscow?
Because that's where it was invented. And I guess he discovered it, and he wanted to buy the rights to it because he knew this could be a huge game.
So he was the Johnny-come-lately. It had already been invented.
Yes,
He just discovered that somebody in Russia had this game.
Yeah, and then they get it, and then I'm assuming they end up selling it to Nintendo.
Sounds like a breathtaking movie. Where can I get it?
Because remember the Game
Can I get
Boy?
it on pay-per-view, Bill?
Dude, it's got an 81% rate
Come on.
from Rotten Tomatoes.
Come on now.
It's supposed to be a phenomenal movie. I haven't seen it yet.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal
Not
movie.
even just great.
Not great. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal, Ray. It's supposed to be a phenomenal movie, Ray.
Ray. Would you take the time to watch Tetris?
Honestly, just for the bit of making the two of you annoyed that the one movie I did watch was Tetris, potentially.
81% Rotten Tomatoes, Ray.
81%.
Tetris. Get your popcorn.
And a 7
on the edge of my seat for this one.
7.4 rating.
It's a thrill
on
ride.
IMDb. I heard it was pretty good.
610-632-0975. Couple open lines. Good time to get in. We got Ian and we got B checking in, and then you on the Mike Missanelli Show back after this.
Andrew Salciunas.
Emmanuel Macron said to his wife after he got pushed in the face. Let me delve into this story a little bit because that's embarrassing. The plane door opens, right, and he's kind of tucked behind, but she's visible, and you can see. Well, no, he's visible. She's kind of tucked behind, but you can see her hand push him in the face. She put both hands on her husband's face before shoving him firmly. Just moments after the president's plane door opened upon his arrival in Hanoi, in Vietnam. While the embarrassed-looking leader claimed the pair were, quote, unquote, squabbling, a professional lip reader has since decoded the shocking exchange.
I'm on the edge of my seat here. What did they decode?
After the door opened and Macron noticed that the cameras were on him, he then said hi before raising his hand. Emmanuel then steps closer to Brigitte before composing himself and crossing to the other side. Moments later, he signals for her to follow him with, "Let's go," the lip reader said. He thanks the pilot and waves at the camera, trying to recover the public-facing image. But at the top of the stairs, things turn icy again. He offers his arm. She ignores it, choosing to cling to the railing instead. As she passes, she appears to mutter, "Dégagez, espèce de loser," translated in English, "Stay away, you loser." He says, "Essence, s'il vous plaît," which translated to, "Let's try, please." She then responds, "None."
Which translates to no.
Yeah.
See that, Ray?
So his closing expression and the phrase lip read is "je vois," translated in English as "I see," says it all, says the lip reader.
Yeah, I would think that if she feels comfortable enough to push him in the face in public like that, God only knows what happens behind closed doors, man.
Brigitte then didn't take her husband's proffered arm when making her way down the staircase where Vietnamese officials greeted them.
Never okay for it to get physical. I think you're seeing the tip of the iceberg with this relationship. There's something they got some
this
problems.
has been a controversial relationship from the word go.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Never okay to get physical, Ray. Let me give you some words of advice.
He answered it. He says, "We were squabbling and rather joking with my wife," adding the incident was being overblown into a sort of geoplanetary catastrophe by his enemies. People are saying all sorts of nonsense. Everyone needs to calm down.
Well, yeah, of course he's going to try to downplay it.
They first met in 1993 when Brigitte was a 39-year-old high school teacher and Emmanuel was her 15-year-old student and a classmate of her daughter.
Yeah, his whole thing's
The French press has had a field day with this. Can you imagine?
No, I can't. I could. If that was here, I think our media would have a field day with it, too.
Oh, no question about it. We already have a field day with Melania. Let's go to Ian in West Philly. Ian, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Look, fellas, I like Bill, but I had no idea he could translate French, but he can't translate the unwritten rules of baseball. Seriously. No,
All right, so you're pro-retaliation, right?
He translated one word, none.
So I'm not just pro-retaliation. I'm pro the unwritten rules of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and it goes beyond. But not only are there the unwritten rules, but there's the nuances within the rules. And the nuances are what inspired me to call today, Mike. And I want to get your opinion on my interpretation of the nuances.
Go ahead.
So here we go. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, they had to retaliate immediately. Like the first batter of the next inning, no matter who it was. And the reason why is because with the way that the game is officiated nowadays, that if they wait until tomorrow or today or tomorrow or the next series or next year, whenever, they open themselves up to having their pitcher ejected. But based off of the nuances, if they retaliate immediately, they're going to let that pass. But then if the Braves then re-retaliate, then their player's going to get ejected. But by delaying the retaliation, it increases the escalation factor, which increases the ability for them to throw out our players.
You're correct. Now, here's the thing. If the umpires, they know the situation, if they offer a warning at the start of the game, then you're screwed. Because then your pitcher retaliates, he gets tossed. That's where I think you're going. If you think about this overnight, okay, maybe there's a little bad blood, so we're going to warn both teams before the game, and then you don't get a chance to retaliate.
Exactly. Now, Mike, I got to call my supervisor up and tell him I strained my shoulder for patting myself on the back, Mike.
We did a nice job. You did a very nice job. Now, I'm going to reward you with the general knowledge question. How's that?
All right, bring it on.
All right, this is the musical act. It's a musical. I'm going to give you the musical act. The song is a one-word song. So I'm going to give you the definition of the word of the song. So if I say Fleetwood Mac, definition, natural disaster caused by erosion, what's the song?
Oh, gosh. Not landfall, mudslide.
Wait. What was your first instinct?
Landslide.
Correct. You made it too hard for yourself.
Good job.
That's based off of geological knowledge, too.
All right, well, there you go.
I do like Fleetwood.
Nice job, Ian. There you go. Landslide.
I think Ray's owed 2 questions now.
Is Ray owed 2 questions?
Yes.
All right, Ray. Let's go to Stevie Wonder is the artist. A belief that is not based on reason or science. What's the song? One word.
Oh, superstitious.
Oh!
Wait a minute. Wait. He said
Superstition.
superstitious.
Oh, my God. This guy could say mudslide, landfall, and we gave him landslide.
Hold on. Let's go to the
judges.
We got to go to the judges here.
Judges, Bill.
God.
You're the judge.
I think he should still get credit.
All right, Ray. You slide in.
I think you still get it. Even though
now, is Ray owed a question on the previous category?
Correct.
General knowledge?
Yeah, we never went to him.
Okay, Ray. What movie's villain once ate a man's liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti? Oh, Ray.
Ray's showing his lack of movie knowledge.
Your movie knowledge, your lack of hurts.
This one does hurt, Ray.
This does hurt. Everybody's answering.
All right, can we give him a hint? Hello,
he
Clarice.
He doesn't know who that is.
He doesn't know that either.
Hannibal Lecter is the answer.
Oh, yeah, I heard of that
You
guy.
know
What movie that
Hannibal
from?
Lecter?
What movie, Ray?
Heard of Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, Ray. Is it just an age thing with Ray?
Yeah, it's an age thing.
Like, do you think most 25-year-olds don't know Silence of the Lambs?
Probably.
Oh, it's Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
I know that movie.
You know the movie?
Never watched it. I know it exists, though.
Now, would I be okay in saying great movie? Can I say great in terms of Silence of the Lambs? Phenomenal movie?
I wouldn't go, yeah.
Oh, it was a great movie.
Good movie. Great movie.
I think it's a great
You
movie.
use great too much, man.
There's a lot of great movies over the years.
Is that a top? Would that be on your top 20 movies? That would make it a great movie. Is that
you
one
know
of your
what?
top 20?
Probably not top 20. But it's
Good
you're right.
movie.
Very good movie then. How about that? Very good.
Very good movie. All right. So there's great, very good, and good.
Pretty good.
All right. 610-632-0975. Don't forget at noon. Coming up is the news at noon with some interesting little tidbits.
Actually, maybe
and
not.
also Kevin Patulo.
Yes, we may go Patulo
the
first.
Offensive coordinator. Oh, he's coming up at 12:05. That's my bad. So the news at noon will come out after Kevin Patulo.
And I think
the new
he's going to be on
coordinator.
time. And I think because he's new,
You think so?
he'll be on time.
What are the bets, Ray? Is he on time or not?
I don't like tardiness.
He's not on time.
Nah, I think he's going to show some respect to the media. He's going to be early.
Think so?
I'm actually saying
or
early.
will he show respect to his head coach who anointed him offensive coordinator, who's always late?
Nah, he'll be on time. A little
All
early.
right.
12:04, he's going to come on.
B, Matt, and Dom, your phone calls are next. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies beat the Braves Braves. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 2-0 last night over the Braves behind 6 shutout innings from Ranger Suarez. Ryan Kirkering, Matt Strahm, and Jordan Romano combined for 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. The Phillies were able to scratch across 2 runs despite Bryce Hart being drilled with a fastball in the elbow in the first inning. X-rays after the game came back negative. Rob Thompson was asked postgame about his concern for his superstar.
I don't know. We'll have to reevaluate in the morning, but the X-rays were negative, and he's certainly in a lot of pain. So whenever one of your top hitters or your best hitter gets hit like that, there's always some concern. But he's a tough guy too.
The Phillies and Braves, weather pending, play again tonight at 6:45 with A.J. Smith-Shawver and Zach Wheeler matching up on the mound. The Eagles have their second day of OTAs today. We'll get a chance to hear from offensive coordinator Kevin Patulo coming up in the next segment at 12:05. Of course, that's if he's on time. Live press conference that we will carry for you right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And also on The Fanatic tonight, the Union on the road against Toronto. First place club kicks off tonight at 7:30. You can listen to the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Discover. Discover wants everyone to feel special. That's why they double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with cashback match. See terms at discover.com/credit card. I'm Ray Dunn in your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Patulo's coming our way at 12:05. Will he be on time? Is the question.
I would say no.
No, he will be. Is this the first time we've heard from Patulo since he's been named OC?
I think it is.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big press conference.
It is big. We'll see how he handles these merciless reporters, 105 of them, that cover the Eagles.
I just hope he doesn't use obviously and certainly anywhere near as much as Kellen Moore did.
We shall see. Let's go back to the phones because B in Westchester's been hanging. What's up, B?
Yo, what'd you miss?
What's up, B?
Oh,
How you
going
doing?
on?
How you doing?
All right, retaliation. I need some more information, Mike. So who are we holding culpable for the Phillies' lack of retaliation last night? Is it the manager?
Nobody
Or
is
who's
culpable. The manager's not culpable. The pitching staff collectively is supposed to understand the circumstances of this. Now, the fact that Ranger didn't do it, probably he was protecting a 1-0 game. If the circumstances were different, they were ahead 4-0 early on, maybe he does it. I'm just saying what should have been done.
Okay, but I think maybe the green light was on if Ranger wanted to throw at a guy.
Maybe it was, and maybe he didn't do it. I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't know why he wouldn't have done it. I'm looking at it like there's a situation there. It's early in the game, second inning. An important hitter's up. Third inning, Acuna's up. Like that's a small window of when you can do it. He chose not to do it.
Yeah, I get your point. I think it's more of a Ranger thing. I don't see Ranger being that type of a cat, if I'm being honest.
You're probably right about that, but that doesn't absolve him of responsibility. You know, because there's a lot of guys that are paying attention here.
I don't disagree, but close game. You factor all these circumstances in, because if you had a guy like you remember like a Jake Arrieta,
yeah,
I'm sure he's throwing at the next hitter.
Listen, older school guys would do it, are more likely to do it than the newer school guys. I get that, but in the second inning, there's no score, right? So you don't want to put a guy on base. I get it. Albies is up to start the second inning. Who's behind Albies? Is there anybody ferocious behind him? Sean Murphy, Eli White, Michael Harris, and Nick Allen are due up. Like, to me, that's a harmless. You put him on first base. I'll get 3 outs with that coming up.
Yeah, but I don't think if your beef is that Rob Thompson's got to put the directives out there.
No, that's not my beef. That's not a manager's place. The manager has never done that. A manager does not want to be culpable for that, but he trusts his teammate to know what the score is. He trusts his players.
Right, okay. But JT, so I do think it's probably solely at the pitcher's discretion, though, right? Like if the pitcher's deciding.
Yeah, nobody's going to tell him to do it. The pitcher should know what his responsibilities are.
So I don't know. I can't put that on Ranger for not doing it because of the situation, and maybe he's not that type of a guy. But if you got somebody else, like some of these guys, I think they're looking for the first opportunity.
Yeah, all right. Well, that doesn't excuse Ranger in my book because he's a pacifist. All right, listen, B, here's your general knowledge question. NBA MVPs. All right. In, let's see, 2007, this foreigner from the Western Conference won the MVP.
Foreign-born.
And it was also a Southwest state.
Foreign-born. Can I get the position?
He was a forward type of guy. He's a big.
A big in
He's a big.
07?
He's a big who could shoot.
Western Cup. Is it Dirk?
It is Dirk Nowitzki. Oh, hold on a second,
okay.
B. There you go. So B gets the question correctly, and now it is up to Ray. Ray, in the year 2 before Allen Iverson, this man who was a power forward was the MVP.
2 years before?
Yes, 1999. Power forward, Western Conference.
2 years before. Allen Iverson, Western Conference, 99.
Premier player.
MVP, yeah. It's not Tim Duncan because we've already done Tim Duncan here. I think who was the star of the 99
He
season?
might have to get the hook, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
too
Tim
long.
Duncan. Yeah, I'll take the
No,
buzzer.
it's Carl Malone, the mailman.
Wow, mailman was still going at 99.
Yeah, you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia Beasley Media Group station. And we are broadcasting from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right, before we get to Kevin Patulo, this one applies a little bit. So let me go back to Tony Dungy's opinion on the tush push as we wait for Mr. Patulo. Here's what he said on a podcast about the tush push. And I'll read the whole quote, Bill. I felt like it was going to stay in place because it helps scoring. It's an offensive play, and we tend to go for that. When I came into the league back in the early 70s or mid-70s, there were rules against assisting the runner. You could block for the runner. That's how you help them. But you couldn't pull a runner or push a runner. And now, for some reason, we seem to think that's okay. We have rules that regulate the defense, what they can and can't do. Defensive guys can't leap on top of people to block a PAT, can't do certain things. But pushing the runner seems to be okay. And I just think it's not fair football. And I was disappointed, but I wasn't surprised. We can line up 10 people behind the quarterback and push him, and you have no chance to stop it on defense. Bill, your thoughts?
First of all, I knew you would love this quote because it supports your argument. But I think it's ridiculous. First of all, you can't line up 10 guys behind the quarterback because that would mean there would be no one blocking and there wouldn't be anybody to snap him the ball. So, invalid argument right there.
Well, he embellished.
And secondly, the reason that they changed the rule about pushing the runner is because it was hard to enforce down the field. That's the reason that they got rid of it and they changed it. And he's not wrong. They do love offense. More scoring, they think results in more viewers and all that. But to keep saying there's nothing the defense can do, then how come 30 other teams can't do it? The only other team that's ran it effectively is Buffalo, and they got stopped multiple times in the AFC Championship.
Because they don't practice it the right way. They don't focus on it the right way. They don't put enough effort into coaching it. It's simple.
Well, then,
and now you're going to see. Now you're going to see everybody do it.
And if that happens, then maybe my opinion of banning it will change. But right now, until 32 teams can run it as effectively as the Eagles, I think it should stay, and defenses should figure out how to try to stop it.
You're disagreeing with the great Tony Dungy, Super Bowl winning coach?
I am disagreeing with Tony Dungy on this one.
Who are you to disagree with Tony Dungy?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who, me? I'm agreeing with him.
How old is Dungy now?
I don't know, but he's right. He makes a great point. It's happens to be my point. But
First of all, Tony Dungy was a defensive coach, so I'm not surprised that his opinion is to try to limit
Tony Dungy
was
offensive play. Quarterback in college, you know.
But he was the one that came up with the Tampa 2.
Okay, I get it, but he was an offensive player.
Yeah, defensive coach, though. He's biased.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Patulo, the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, on time. Let's listen to him.
All right, guys. Good to see everybody.
So how different will the offense be this year?
Well, I mean, as far as different, we go through the process at the end of each year of examining what we do well, what we need to improve upon, and then really any trends or anything we see that we can add to it. So I think really when you say different, I think it's going to be like, what do our players do best, like it's been? And then from there, we just expand upon it. Hey, we're really good at this. Let's bring this to the table and try this and see where we can take it. And I think really when you look at just our staff as a whole, we've added some new coaches, so they bring some other layers to it too, and then the knowledge of what they have from their background. So I think as we go forward, as we build this thing together as a staff, you'll see some new wrinkles here and there, but more so it's just kind of building on what our players do best.
What were your thoughts on the tush push surviving another season anyway?
I mean, it's great for us. We get to continue to use it and have our compliments off it and do different things. So it's fun. It's something we're passionate about. We're very detailed about. We put a lot of work in as a staff, and it's exciting to be able to continue to use it.
What are some things you think you can bring to the offense in your current role that you maybe weren't able to last year or the past years in other roles?
I think really it comes down to just my experience. I've been here with Nick since day one, knowing the guys and understanding them, their skill sets, what they can do, and kind of being in a different role to where I saw a big picture at all times. And now I can concentrate on certain things. And I've been in each room, every year kind of with the receivers and the quarterbacks and kind of spread my knowledge around. So now it's just a matter of getting to know the players at a different level, but they still trust me in that capacity, which the background that I kind of had with them.
You mentioned some of the new staff members.
Mm-hmm.
What has Leffler brought?
Scott's been great. I mean, he's got a wealth of knowledge, right? He's been a quarterback coach forever, coordinator forever, and a head coach. He ran a diverse system in college, which has been really cool. So when you have a guy in your staff that's got all this wealth of knowledge, it's great to lean on him and just kind of hear what he has to say. And it's good, right? You don't always want the same things from your coaches, just like I am. I want somebody different to bounce ideas off of and give me some kind of new information. He's been really, really good so far. Super detailed guy, very energetic and works hard. And he's passionate about football, so he's been great.
What was the interview process like for you?
I mean, really, when it comes down to, the interview, it's you're interviewing every day, right? So for the last 4 years, I'm essentially interviewing with Nick, the staff, the players. And then, once we start the interview, it's all about football, how you're going to use personnel, what you're going to do, and, how you're going to put the team in the best spot.
Because you've been with Nick obviously so long, you two are kind of linked in many people's eyes, but how do you think you differ from him in terms of philosophy or offensive understanding?
It's interesting. When we go back to the Colts when him and I are together, I think there's a lot of fundamental things that we see the same way, but I do think our brains work differently. So it's a good back and forth conversational piece that we have constantly. And there's a lot of things, like I said, that he believes in that I believe in as well. And we're going to do those things. But I do think we challenge each other to grow. And he's awesome about just finding new ideas and testing the waters and saying, what if we did this? What if we tried that? And he challenges you as a coach to really continue to grow your game. So we can be, linked together, but I do think as far as like the testing each other, and, he loves to always say, right, where iron sharpens iron and all these other things about just when you're working together with people trying to create greatness, right? You can't be great without the greatness of others. He's a big part of that, right? He pushes us as coaches to get better, and that's kind of what's unique about it.
What's your philosophy or approach as a play caller?
My approach, right, is to put the players in the best position they can to be successful, and then that's what it comes down to. You want to make sure they're confident in everything that they can do, and you want to be confident as a coach that you put them in that position so that they can go out there and do their best.
You mentioned knowing the guys before. What kind of luxury is it as an OC to come in with 10 of 11 starters and not even the talent, that continuity?
I think it's huge, right? Because everybody knows each other. And, when it comes down to it, when they're out there playing, they're problem solving. Ultimately, you don't always know what you're going to get as an offense. So those guys can walk out there in the field and be confident in what they're supposed to do. But no matter what happens, they feel like they can problem solve and do the best together. And that's really what it comes down to, right? We've had a lot of coaches say the same, and then we've had, a lot of players say the same. That's huge as far as guys knowing what we want to do, when we want to do it. And then if something does pop up, we can all adjust together, which is what we have to do as a staff and players.
Jalen specifically, you obviously have worked with him for a while. Now that the relationship has to change, how do you feel like you guys and that relationship will help you in this current role?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here with him since day one, and it's been great. He works extremely hard. We all know that, and he's super detailed in what he does. And the biggest thing with him is he always wants to get better, and that's what's awesome. And so he's willing to listen to anybody about anything. So if he feels like it's going to get him better, he's willing to take it and try it. And then the best part of it is the dialogue after, right? So we had one practice yesterday. He's willing to try anything, and then we can have dialogue after and kind of go from there. So he's a great player for a reason. His work ethic speaks for itself.
What are your guiding principles as an offensive mind?
As far as
what's your guiding principles as a coach, the things that you prioritize, the things that are important to you that helps set the course for your coaching?
I mean, really, when it comes down to it, kind of said it before, it's put the players in the best position to be successful, and that's what it's going to come down to, right? We're going to be detailed, just like Nick says. We're going to be detailed in our fundamentals and everything we do. We'll be detailed in the scheme, and then put the players in the best position to be successful.
Being around Kellen Moore last year, kind of like broaden your horizons as far as being ready to be an offensive coordinator?
Anytime you can get around somebody that's different, kind of outside your circle or new, right, it can expand your knowledge, right? It just kind of tests you, and it brings something different to the table and a new piece of information that you may not have had. And him and I worked very closely last year together on, putting the offense together. And it was fun. I learned a lot from him, and I think the same from back and forth, right? We had a lot of conversations back and forth, what he had done in the past, whether it was Dallas or the Chargers, and what we had done here, and trying to bridge that as a staff was unique. That doesn't happen a ton, and it was really, really successful, obviously. But benefiting from his knowledge and being able to ask questions to him and the back and forth conversations, and during games, it was the same kind of thing, the back and forth. We had a very unique relationship. We didn't know each other prior to. And, it went quickly to where we trusted each other, and I could lean on him and he could lean on me. So, working with him last year was a huge benefit.
You do have a lot of starters. You do have a lot of starters coming back. You did have a lot of success last year. What goes into anticipating the adjustments defenses will make this year?
Yeah, I think just like every year, right? You go in saying, okay, this is the core fundamental, what teams want to do, and then you just have your kind of checklist of things that you got to go down. They could do this, they could do this, they could do that. And then you have to have your core plays that that you trust. Like we talked about, all the 11 guys are back essentially. So, they know how to problem solve out on the field. And as coaches, we have to be ready to adjust.
This team, who was the greatest influence in your fundamental years of coaching?
Obviously, Nick's been huge on me here currently. But prior to that, my biggest influence was Kincade. I was with Chan, a couple different places. Started in Kansas City when I was with Herm Edwards. I was a young coach then. He had just come from Georgia Tech at that point. And just going through that with him was very unique. In 2008 we lost a couple quarterbacks. We ended up having Tyler Thigpen come in. And I'll never forget, we get into a staff room and the walls are all white. There's nothing out there. He goes, all right, we got to figure out a new offense for this week. And he was willing to do anything and try anything to be successful. We ended up developing this no-huddle system. We were in the pistol, and in 2008, nobody knew what the pistol was in the NFL. And we were successful for the most part. We knew a lot of games, but we moved the ball with a bunch of guys that we didn't know really if we could do that with. And so, him being able to show, look, we do what we have to do to win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to look a certain way was huge. And then, I went to Buffalo with him, and it looked way different. And we had Ryan Fitzpatrick there, and we were in four wides, throwing all over the place. And I got with him again in New York, and so just being around him, he's probably been my greatest influence on my past, and then obviously Nick currently. But he just taught me a lot, and the biggest thing was put your players in position, allow them to be successful, and develop dialogue, communication with them, and things will take off. But no, he's definitely been a big influence on me.
Who were some of the play calls
since you've come into this new role?
Really. Some of it's still similar, right? The biggest thing, obviously, is the one voice in the offensive room. I still had a big voice prior to, but it's really not a ton different. A lot of the staff is together. And we have a great staff, right? We have the best O-line coach in the NFL. We have the best tight end coach, the best receiver coach, best running back coach. And then we added a couple new coaches. And I worked with Parks Frazier at the Colts, and he's expanded his game. So it's really not that much different. And like I said, those guys are so good at what they do. It's great for me, and as a whole staff, we really, really do well together.
Getting back to the play calling part of it, who are some of the play callers you've been around that maybe shape what we'll see from you as a play caller?
Obviously, Kellen was really good at what he did last year and just developing. And what's interesting is that, he had to kind of adjust on the fly, right, which was really cool to see. Shane had his very unique style, which was interesting too. And how he thought. And then obviously the biggest one for me, kind of talked about before, was just Kincade and just how to do things and trust the players and set things up and go through the process of it. And then Frank Reich, obviously, in the Colts was awesome too. I've been very fortunate to be around some really, really, really good coaches.
As far as change, what about day-to-day with Nick, your associate head coach role? So he had said in the past that to clean it up, maybe when he was being too harsh on people, you were the guy who kind of pulled him back. Does that change at all?
No, I don't think that'll ever change. We work hand in hand. That's what we know. That's what we do. I don't think that'll change.
Kevin Dallas Goddard was a big storyline
Yep.
off season. Are you sleeping any better knowing he's coming back?
Yes.
How played
Yes, no, Dallas is awesome. You could feel his presence out there yesterday and just doing our 7-on-7 stuff. We're so glad to have him back. He brings a very unique, different style of play to the offense, and he's another weapon to add.
Kevin, you mentioned Parks Frazier. How have you seen him grow as a coach, and what really stands out to you about him?
So really, from the time we were with him at the Colts until now, his offensive knowledge has grown, right? Being in Miami last year, he learned all this new stuff. and then being at Carolina kind of on his own, doing his own thing and coaching up Bryce there, he's really expanded his game. He had to jump into an awkward situation as a coordinator, a play caller that one year at Indy. That was another thing. And so he's really developed as a coach, and then just the new styles he has and the ways to communicate, but he still kind of knows the same language and the way we were able to talk prior to, which is really beneficial. He can just jump right in there and go.
Even if the job itself is not that different for you, I imagine this is a job you've been preparing for a long time.
Mhm.
So when you were writing in your notes about what you were going to do when you were an offensive coordinator, what were some of the things that you wanted to remind yourself that were important to you?
I think the biggest thing is just be me. I mean, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm going to be who I am, and then just rely on all the coaches that we have, because that was something that Chan always taught me too. All the coaches you have around you are there for a reason. So don't just all of a sudden think you're going to do it yourself, right? And lean on those guys and lean on what they're experts at, and really that'll give you the best chance to be successful.
What are you seeing from Saquon, now that he's back after such a heavy workload this past season and everything, like just how he's looking so far?
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, he looks like the same guy. I mean, it's unbelievable how he's able to do that and continue to go day in and day out. And he looked in regular season mode yesterday running routes, so it was pretty cool.
Is the verdict going to stay pretty much the same?
Yeah, I don't think we'll change too much, right? We've kind of had the Eagles offense is what we've kind of been running essentially the last 4 years, and we'll kind of keep it in that grouping of words just because the continuity of everybody, it'll be a lot easier, and then we can make adjustments or add stuff within things because that kind of baseline language is already built.
As a follow-up to Bo's question, this job in the past decade has propelled OCs to head coaching jobs, but the ones who've replaced those guys haven't had as much success, naturally because you replace a successful coach. How do you navigate that? How do you deal with taking over a team and an offense that had this much success?
To be honest, you're just kind of doing your job. If you look at something like that big picture, I guess it could be overwhelming, but I just this is what I do. This is what I wanted to do. I've been wanting to do it, and I have an opportunity to do it. And like I said, I've got a great staff around me, great players, great organization, everything, so it'll be fun.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there it is. That's Kevin Patulo. Your initial reaction to that, Bill?
He sounds a lot like Nick. I mean,
the Nick Sirianni Jr., the offensive coordinator.
He sounds a lot like Nick. I mean, it did sound like he felt comfortable addressing the media, which, I mean, how much stock do you put into that? But he did seem comfortable. I'll tell you, the one thing that didn't make me feel great, he says his biggest influence was Chan Gailey. And I was looking at some of Chan Gailey's
old school
rankings. 2008, Chan Gailey as offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, 29th ranked offense. Then he goes to Buffalo to be the head coach. 30th ranked offense, 22nd ranked offense, 25th ranked offense. Then he goes to be an OC of the New York Jets, top 8 in 2015, then 29th in 2016. So I'm hoping he's evolved since his time with Chan.
He covered everything by saying, my goal is to put the players in the best position to be successful. How many times have we heard that?
Yeah.
He sounded all right. He says, and it always bothers me. I don't know why, but we got to do this, right? Like he says the word right, just like Nick Sirianni does after everything.
Yeah, that's kind of a pet peeve of mine too. I don't like when people do that, and even in general conversation.
It's almost like you're trying to convince yourself.
Yeah,
All right.
A lot of people do that though.
Let's take a break. 610-632-0975. Any comments on what you just heard from Kevin Patulo, the new offensive coordinator? And, of course, he referred to Parks Frazier, who's the passing game coordinator, and also Scott Loeffler, who's the quarterback's coach. Plenty of coaches there, Bill.
Yeah, we'll see how things evolve.
2 Italians are in charge of the offense, Bill. What's that mean?
Oh, a lot of paisans, man. You got Big Dom, too. It's like the Sopranos over there at the Novacare.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Sports Update.
Phillies beat the Braves. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 2-0 last night over the Braves behind 6 shutout innings from Ranger Suarez, Ryan Kirkering, Matt Strahm, and Jordan Romano combined for 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. The Phillies were able to scratch across 2 runs despite Bryce Harper being drilled with a fastball in the elbow in the first inning. That caused Harper to leave the game. X-rays after the game came back negative. Rob Thompson was asked post-game about his concern for his superstar.
I don't know. We'll have to reevaluate in the morning, but the x-rays were negative, and he's certainly in a lot of pain. So whenever one of your top hitters or your best hitter gets hit like that, there's always some concern, but he's a tough guy too.
Phillies Braves weather pending. Play again tonight at 6:45. AJ Smith-Shawver and Zach Wheeler matching up on the mound. Eagles have their second day of OTAs today. They're going to hit the practice field later on this hour. You just got a chance to hear from new offensive coordinator Kevin Patulo addressing the media, talking about his biggest influences, what the differences might be, and Nick Sirianni's influence on him. We'll continue to react to everything Patulo had to say throughout the day here. And the Union tonight on the road against Toronto. First place club kicks off tonight at 7:30. You can listen to the game live right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like the 2025 E-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE Sedan. Hurry it now through July 31st. Learn more at MBUSA.com/dream. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for NBA playoff action. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
12:27. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. The 12 o'clock hour, by the way, brought to you by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. All right, so just a couple of leftovers from Kevin Patulo. He said we do what our players do best. Well, in that vein, I don't expect much change next year because they run the ball best. So everything will be based off them running the football, and I don't think we see it. In a lot of ways, his job is really easy. Like, I'm not expecting a coordinator to have all these brilliant ideas to change what they do best, because what they do best is they grind you up anyway. So
yeah, I mean, think about the narrative and conversation when Kellen Moore was hired. As a lot of us were thinking he's going to come in here and he's going to add all these wrinkles and all this pre-snap motion and all this crazy passing concepts. That really wasn't what got them to a Super Bowl. Like you said, they doubled down on the rushing attack. Now, I do expect Kevin Patulo to add some things, and the word has been evolve, and we've heard Jalen Hurts use the term iteration over and over again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's going to be a run-heavy offense. And I was looking at some of the numbers from Kevin Patulo. So he's been the pass game specialist here for 5 years, Mike. As the pass game specialist, they ranked 20th in passing attempts, 32nd, 23rd, 21, and 32nd. So I'm not expecting him to come in and say, we're going to be pass happy now. They're going to be a run-heavy team, and that's really the recipe to win with this team.
Yeah. Also, he was asked the question, how do you differ from Nick? He said our brains work differently, but we challenge each other to grow. So they go back and forth. They challenge each other, Bill. They're not just, he's just not a yes man for Nick.
Yeah, it's like
that's what he says.
It's like me and you.
Exactly.
Very similar.
Our brains work extremely differently.
Yeah, definitely. You're a Neanderthal when it comes to baseball, and I'm not.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. Yeah. 610-632-0975. So getting back to the subject, because a lot of people have a lot to say about this retaliation thing, and most of the people, I'm shocked, are on my side on this whole thing.
I'm not.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I'm not shocked because, look, we're a blue-collar Philadelphia fan base. You know, punch us in the mouth, we're going to punch you back. I just think that in the modern Major League Baseball, it's kind of an archaic way of thinking. You shouldn't throw at people.
And yet beating each other up with people watching you on the ice is not archaic.
Totally acceptable.
Yeah.
It's just because you're self-governing. I don't see how this is self-governing by throwing at each other.
It's not self-governing. You're getting punished for it by a referee. Self-governing. Where's the self-governing?
So you can't take runs at people. Look, you protect your goalie. Don't come near my goalie, Mike.
Please, this barbaric nonsense. All right, the Phils are number 2 in the power rankings. They have a better lineup than the Braves. That became clear to me last night when you look at the Braves below. Once you get past Albies, they got nothing. Their pitching staff isn't as good as the Phillies. So I pretty much I put them out of my mind as far as the division goes. Now, could they be a wild card? I guess they don't have to worry about in Atlanta for that stuff. But again, last night, Bryce Harper goes down in a heap, gets conked on the elbow. That hurts, man. I know that Spencer Strider's not at 99. He's still feeling his way, but 95 still hurts directly on the elbow to the point where he has to come out of the game. I had a visceral reaction to that as a baseballer. And I'm going, okay, well, somebody on the Braves has to go down. That's my star player, and you just drilled him out of the game. And I don't care what your intention was. Your intention was to pitch him inside. You got too far inside. That's no excuse. So my guy then has a chance in the top of the second inning. Ozzie Albies is up as the first hitter. He skates by. In the third inning, the second hitter in the third inning for Braves is Ronald Acuna Jr. just coming back. You got a chance there, too. It's a 1-0 game. It's early in the game. You don't worry about the score at that point. Later in the game, you worry about the score. You go, okay, I'll shelf it. Maybe we'll do it down the road. But something's got to be done. And I was watching the postgame last night, and our own Ricky Pitalico said the same thing. A man who has been on the mound.
A man who has retaliated. He threw at Barry. We know that.
Exactly right.
Threw at Barry Bonds, and then what happened? Barry Bonds charged the mound, and now they both had to answer for it. I like that better. You know what would have happened last night. Ranger would have threw at Acuna. Maybe there would have been some words.
So you just put a hockey thing out there in baseball?
I'd rather have to have somebody answer. Like Spencer Strider.
I'm losing my mind here.
Look, Strider throwing at Harper. even if we retaliate, Strider doesn't have to answer for anything. That's what I find so ridiculous.
It doesn't matter if he doesn't have to answer
for it.
His teammates have to answer. That's the peril of it. Albies is up there going, "Oh, you just put me in jeopardy, Holmes. You put me in jeopardy."
Yeah, the ball got away from him. I don't think it was intentional.
Ball got away.
And I disagree with you.
It's intentional. We've been over this 100 times.
But I disagree with you in that
again, Bill.
You saying that Ranger would not have gotten tossed. I think if Ranger throws at somebody in the following inning,
no warning that was issued. It would have to be over the top, thrown at his head for an umpire to react that way. An umpire knows the score. He knows there was a one dog bite on the other side. He allows a mini dog bite on the other side.
I am not convinced that Ranger doesn't get tossed. If he throws at a player in the next inning and he gets tossed, you've now messed up your team for the next 3 games.
You're not going to get tossed, and you know it. All right, let's get back to the phones. Let's go to Dom in Belmar. Dom, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Dom.
Fellas, how are we today?
What's up, Dom?
Now, I'm usually a staunch Bill Colarulo supporter, but not today.
Well, Dom's a big baseball guy, so he's disagreeing with me.
I just wish we had Alvarado right now, because I don't want anybody on this team retaliating against the Braves unless it's Alvarado, because I don't want Ranger throwing 90 in somebody's ribs. I want Alvarado throwing 100 in somebody's ribs.
It doesn't matter. You get the same message applies. You hit him in the ribs at 90,
Mike,
that's fine.
Mike, I don't want a message. I want pain.
Yeah.
I don't want message.
Got
Now,
Mr. T
I
on the
don't
phone.
Yeah, pain.
pain. I don't want them to retaliate this series. I want them to bury the Braves now, and I want to get them back later in the year when the Braves are at their lowest and when Harper's back in the game, because I don't want them to retaliate when Harper's not playing. I want him on the field when they retaliate, because I want Harper to get his licks in too.
Well, what do you mean, get his licks in? What?
Well, you know there's going to be a bench clearing.
No, there won't. No. See, here's the Braves know that the guy went on that their guy went on the offensive. The Braves know they're baseball players aren't dummies. They know something else is coming to even the score. There's not going to be any bench clearing brawl.
Well, not if they do it now. If they do it later in the year, there might be. If they do it now, and that's another reason why I don't want it now, because every Brave tonight is expecting to get one in the ribs. And now they're going to be up at the plate thinking about that rather than thinking about getting hits, in my opinion.
So does Wheeler do it tonight?
No, I don't think he
you don't
does.
think Wheeler does
mows
it?
Them down. No,
Okay.
you can't have your ace do it. And because if you win the series today and you bury the Braves a little bit deeper than they already are, they're going to be done for the year. They can't. And if Wheeler does it and they throw Wheeler out, then you give them momentum for the game and they could possibly win the series. I want Wheeler to put the nail in the coffin of the series tonight, and then do it later in the year, maybe July, August, or whenever, when the Braves are completely out of it, and now they're going to sell because they stink.
Okay.
I don't want them to do it now. I want them to win now.
All right. Let me ask you. You don't want us to do it tonight. Would you have done it last night?
No, not in a 2-run or 1-run game. No.
Not even in the second inning? Second inning, no score. Come on, Dom. You're getting soft like Bill.
Mike, it's the first game of the series. You throw it again, and then Ranger gets booted, and now you're...
He's not going to get booted. You're like Bill. They want a booted Ranger. All right, Dom. Here's your general knowledge question. We're on the general knowledge category. You ready?
Yeah.
What is the English translation of the Spanish word fuego?
Fire.
Correct. Mundo. Big brain on Dom right there. Hold on a second. We got another correct answer.
That was pretty easy.
It was pretty easy, but sometimes they're easy, man. What do you want from me?
Dom just got back from that Casa de Campo, that golf resort.
Oh, that one that you missed that you were invited to go on, but you had the kids.
That was that trip. Yep.
Got to take care of the kids.
Still jealous.
Kids. Here's your question, Ray. Who had the Twitter handle at Pontifex.
The Pope.
Which Pope?
I'll go with Francis.
That is correct.
Good job,
All right.
Ray.
So the audience has 4. Ray has 3 so far.
I got it as 5-3. Am I wrong?
I got 4-3.
I got 5-3 as well.
Got 5-3?
Yeah.
Audience leads?
I believe, yes.
Oh, Ray. Got to catch up, my man. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Connor Thomas.
What this is with all of
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 New Fanatic. By the way, I'm here to announce I no longer love the Knicks.
Oh, no, we don't want you. Stay on that Knicks bandwagon. Ray,
I'm out.
We don't want them.
I'm out.
Yeah, Pacers bandwagon's full.
They showed me a lack of heart. I am now a Pacer fan. I like the way the Pacers play, man. They trumped the Knicks. in their style.
I don't want to even hear it.
Sorry, I had to do it.
You were the biggest Knicks fan going.
I love the way the Knicks played, and then all of a sudden they're getting their shoes pulled off here by this Pacer team and their pace. They turned the ball over too much. They turn the ball over, it leads to breaks. They score quick. They never can get over the hump.
How about Tyrese Halliburton last night, man?
Good player, man. Good player.
I mean, look, I always thought he was good, but I didn't think he was one of the top players in the league. He's playing like one of the top players in the league.
Their whole squad is solid. They got role players that are solid, man. And off the bench, Matherin comes in last night.
Look, we don't want you, all right? Stop singing praises on the Pacers now.
Don't we now with the now you're the Pacers.
Oh, the Knicks are going to win. You remember, Ray? He was pounding his chest about how great the Knicks were. We don't want him now.
I said I liked the way they played. I no longer like the way they play.
No, you're not allowed. I want you to go down with the Knicks fans.
Now he's Mr. Pacer.
Yeah.
Oh, both of you are Mr. Pacer.
Absolutely.
We are. Yeah. Sure.
Actually, I was Mr. Anti-Nick.
Yeah, that's what it
Now
was.
that we're here.
Mr. Anti-Nick does not equate to pro-Pacer.
It was pro-Pacer this series, just like it was pro-Celtic the series before that. And I was pro-Nick there for a series to knock out the Pistons. I've been very consistent about the way I'm rooting here.
You have been. But how about that stat line?
You root on hate. I root on
and it's a beautiful
admiration.
Thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Not a beautiful thing.
It is.
Admiration.
Admiration for a game.
I know this may be blasphemous because he went to Nova and all. Hart's got to hate the face to me now. I can't stand him anymore.
See, I'm not even there.
Like, I don't know. There's some,
I think if he was a Sixer, I'd like him.
Oh, I'd like him too.
Maybe if he was a Sixer, but there's a different thing. There's players that you like on your team that you don't like.
He's not good enough to hate. He's not. The Knicks, they don't have an abundance of scores. Like the Pacers are scoring. Every guy on that team is scoring at a high clip. The Knicks don't have that.
No,
they get two guys. Mikal Bridges, every now and then.
Your boy T.J. McConnell last night.
I'm not even a T.J. fan. Pro T.J. Go T.J.
He played an eternity last night. Almost 20 minutes he was on the court last night.
Oh, really? How did he do?
18 minutes he had.
He had 18 minutes? What was his line?
Only 6 points, but 75% from the field, Mike. What a shooter that kid is.
75% from the field. how many shots did he take?
3 for 4.
Oh, yeah. He's a sniper. That's TJ. I'll tell you.
But really, though, Tyrese Halliburton's stat line, 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, 0 turnovers.
Look at the minuses for the Knicks. Look at their defensive effort. What did they give up, 130?
Yeah, they did.
They gave up 130 points. Look at their plus minus. Find a plus in there.
Karl Anthony Towns was a +3.
He was a +3. Yeah. Look at the rest of them.
Yeah, Mitchell Robinson -20.
And he's supposed to be a defender.
Brunson -16. Bridges -13.
They play on offense with no rhyme or reason, and that's a bad matchup for them. That team presses you and goes, and the Knicks try to dictate the tempo with Brunson, and it doesn't work.
Yes, sirs. Those shirts are corny.
Yeah, those are terrible.
Yeah,
so you pointed out to me, and I saw him on the broadcast right before him.
Yeah,
right behind the people.
They are.
You know what, though? They fit Indiana.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't rock those in the city of Philadelphia, but in Indiana, they're the yes, sirs.
That's my new squad, though.
No, we don't want you. You're not allowed.
Don't we?
You are not allowed. I want you to go down with the ship at Madison Square Garden.
It's a violation to we it.
Not really, but I'm going to go past that. I'm cool with you being a Pacers guy because by the next round, I'm going to be a Thunder guy anyways. So
of course.
You could jump on the Pacers.
Of course, you're taking chalk.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, they're not going to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I'm the one that's... You've been sitting here being the Knicks guy.
No.
I never
now
said
he's the OKC guy.
I said clearly, the Knicks get past the series, they're getting smoked by OKC. I was under no delusions.
Mike's always been a Thunder fan, right? Don't you dare.
I haven't been a Thunder fan. They're a good team. I don't root for them. They're the best team left. Come on. You got to be an idiot not to see that.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Thunder, though. I want to see
the phones. Chuck in South Jersey. What's up, Chuck? Chuck.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Chuck?
I'm good. So I called to weigh in on this Phillies thing with throwing it to batters, but I also wanted to talk to you about cooking a little bit because I'm cooking today, and I know you're a big connoisseur of the marinara sauce.
I am. I can make a marinara.
And
just buy a jar, dude. Just buy a jar in the supermarket. Mike supports that.
Oh, Mike.
No, we're not. No.
It's repulsive.
No.
Go ahead.
So, Mike, you say, and are you growing tomatoes yet this year?
I am, but you know what? This spring has been the crappiest spring that I've experienced in a really long time. I don't get any sunshine on my plants. It's ridiculous now.
Yeah, that's true.
Rain and cool weather and rain and my plants are gone. Help!
All right. So I don't. I'm not growing my own tomatoes. I do have a cousin of mine who grows his own Jersey tomatoes, and I've made marinara from them. It's been like very good.
Beautiful.
But anyway, right now, so I'm using canned tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
But about the wine, so I got like the garlic and the onions going and getting ready to like add the wine.
Yeah.
So what's your preference? I have 2 reds and I have 2 whites.
You got
a Chardonnay.
You got to put a dry red in there. If you're making a marinara sauce,
so
stay away from that white. The driest red that you have.
I got a Malbec, so I'm going to go with the Malbec then in about 3 minutes.
All right, you splash a little
Thanks for the advice.
All right, put a little sugar in there now. A little sugar.
I don't know.
You got to put a little sugar, just a little sugar. Cut the acid down. Cut the acid.
All right. I'll add it a little bit. I usually cut sugar.
All right, now even Clemenza put a little sugar in his sauce in The Godfather. Come on.
Oh, that's a good one. All right.
All right.
They got some eggplant too. We're doing eggplant parmesan to go along with it.
Look at you, man. All right.
I know we're doing. I'm cooking today. I'm off today.
Beautiful, Chuck. All right, now tell me about the Phillies and that retaliation piece.
So it's really like, I guess I think look at it more like these days about like competitive advantage. And I don't know what the competitive advantage is to just throwing at like, Acuna, for example, but pitching like high and tight. And if it hits the guy, it hits the guy. Like I'm kind of like okay with that. But just going out there with intention, just throwing at the guy, seems a little. I'm not too big a fan of that. Just for the retaliation.
Gots to do it.
But I think if you're going
to do it to police the game, Chuck.
Well,
gots to do it. Let's go. Let's not be pacifists here. Let's take charge.
Yeah, I guess I'm becoming a little bit of a pacifist.
You're a pacifist. See,
can we all just get along anymore?
You're getting soft now. You're turning into a chef. You're getting soft on me. All right, Chuck, let's play general knowledge. You ready?
All right.
This is the songs thing. So I'm going to give you the name of the artist. I'm going to give you the definition of the one-word title of the song. So if I go Alanis Morissette, Alanis Morissette's the artist. The definition of the song title is having a contextual meaning opposite of the literal meaning.
Yeah, that's ironic.
Yes. All right, hang on, Chuck.
They're killing me.
Isn't it ironic? Oh, the audience with the 6th correct answer, which brings us to Ray. The band is Heart. The hint is a long, silver, sharp-toothed fish. Ooh.
Barracuda.
Yes! Oh, how'd you get that?
Because I was trying to think of what fish I've heard in a song before.
Ooh, Barracuda. Good work by Ray.
Very good.
Thank you.
Let's take a break. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies beat the Braves. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 2-0 last night over the Braves behind 6 shutout innings from Ranger Suarez. Ryan Kirkering, Matt Strom, and Jordan Romano combined for 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. The Phillies were able to scratch across 2 runs despite Bryce Harper being drilled with a fastball in the elbow in the first inning of the game. He had to leave the game. X-rays afterwards came back negative, and Rob Thompson was asked post-game about his concern for his superstar.
I don't know. We'll have to reevaluate in the morning, but the x-rays were negative, and he's certainly in a lot of pain. So whenever one of your top hitters or your best hitter gets hit like that, there's always some concern, but he's a tough guy too.
Phillies Braves weather pending play again tonight at 6:45 with A.J. Smith-Shawver and Zach Wheeler matching up on the mound. Eagles have their second day of OTAs today. Should be at the practice field right about now. We had a chance to hear from offensive coordinator Kevin Patulo earlier on this hour, talking about some of the differences, some of the similarities, his relationship with Nick Sirianni, some of his influences. A lot of very generic press conference stuff from him earlier today. And tonight on the Fanatic, you get the Union on the road against Toronto. First place club kicks off at 7:30. You'll be live right here on the Fanatic. This update's brought to you by WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private because your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even WhatsApp. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
By the Fanatic. By the way, on General Knowledge today, our prize is a pair of tickets to both days of the Grand Slam Track League. It's a new venture with all these great track stars. It'll be held this Saturday and Sunday at Franklin Field at the University of Pennsylvania campus. Don't miss your favorite runners going head-to-head in the Ultimate Track Showdown for the largest prize pool ever offered in the sport. This is professional track, man. They're turning it out for money. This is not for pride.
There's going to be a lot of speed there.
And,
That'll be cool
and a lot of good distance, like Ray would appreciate. The stamina.
Speaking of Ray, he got sunburned this weekend on the beach with Connor. So I just said to Connor, because he's out there, I said, why didn't you hook my guy up with some suntan lotion on the beach? Connor's response was, he never asked. But don't you think if you see this poor, fair complexion soul
not only that,
burning?
I think Connor should have rubbed it on his back.
Yes.
About that.
I think he should have too, Ray.
No, he shouldn't have.
He should have said,
If he came anywhere near me like
I
that,
think
I would have
the
left.
two Utes should have rubbed the sunscreen on each other.
He should have said, Ray, you are burning. I have a full bottle
I think Connor would have
of
liked
suntan lotion.
Connor would have liked rubbing your back, I think.
Once the two of you hug, then we could start to open up doors for coworkers rubbing
we're
lotion.
too old to hug. You guys are youngins.
Listen, that's about health and safety, Ray. I don't think there's anything weird about coworkers putting suntan lotion on each other if it's to help you not burn.
Then next time you two go to a golf course together, you go ahead and
Mike
do that
didn't
to
tell you. When I went over his house this weekend down the shore, I rubbed lotion on his back.
I don't know.
he
I'm starting to believe the story.
I wouldn't let Bill's barbaric, meaty football hand near me.
All right. I
Anyway.
mean, Bill said he did it. Now it's kind of just a, he said scenario.
At the very least, Connor should have offered you suntan lotion. I'm upset that he didn't take care of you, Ray.
Out of pride, I probably would have turned it
Instead,
down.
He published a picture.
Wait, out of pride? You would have said, no, I'm good?
I probably would have taken it. Yeah, he did post the picture, which was a little much. You
Posted
know?
a picture. I don't think Ray was down with that.
Yeah, Ray's very private.
Ray needs permission.
Ray's
Has to
very
give
private.
Permission. I agree, Ray. I kick his freaking ass right now.
It was pretty. It was actually funny though. As I was going to leave, it's like, good thing you're leaving. The paparazzi's about to get here. It's like, what?
By the way, the news at noon was postponed till 1. So it's the news at 1 coming up.
Yeah, Kevin Patulo messed us up. But
Yeah.
he was on time, Ray, which I know made you happy.
Yeah, 12:06. But
No, he was fine. He didn't say a lot, but he was fine. All right.
He said a lot, just not much. in there.
Yeah, he did. He said a lot, but not much of substance.
There is a skill to that, though.
Oh, the Eagles coaches have it down.
Yeah, there is a skill.
All right, you are listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. And without further ado, it is time for something we usually do at noon, but we're doing it right now at 1 o'clock. It is called the News at Noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the News at Noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Frankly, I'm a little sick of the New York celebrity fan, Timothy Chalamet. I'm going, why is he Timothy Chalamet? Is he from New York? He doesn't look like a guy who'd be from New York, but apparently he is. So I'll give him a pass. But Ben Stiller, I'm done with him. But anyway, the News at Noon starts off with something about Timothy Chalamet.
Yes.
Ray Dunn.
The
what do you
News
got?
at Noon Central today. Timothy Chalamet courtside once again for the game last night. Tough go of it for the team that was formerly Mike's team as the Knicks lose and fall down.
I hate them now. I hate their fans. All right, go ahead.
Chalamet, before the game, got to meet Ernie Johnson. This is the exchange between them, and what I can only imagine was boosted audio by NBA on TNT to try and make this interaction something that went viral.
Timothy, Ernie Johnson. Listen to me. Playing in the biopic. I'm playing in the biopic.
What you can make out of that
The hell was that?
is Ernie Johnson being told by Timothy Chalamet he's going to play him in the biopic. One, do we think Ernie Johnson gets the full biopic? And two, have you ever considered who would play you in a biopic of yourself?
Wait, is that a biopic or a biopic?
Yeah, I think it's biopic.
Well, he's saying biopic in the
Who's saying
video,
biopic?
so
He's saying biopic? Chalamet is?
that's what he's saying.
Biopic? Really? All right. Well, in any event, so Ernie Johnson's going to be like actually the subject of a biopic?
Biopic, I've been told.
It's a biopic, yes.
I'm assuming
We thought it was
he's
a biopic.
joking, right? There's not actually
A
doing
biopic.
it.
Do you think you get? Do we think Ernie Johnson's the level that's going to get one?
Timothy Chalamet getting a little overexposed.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, he's with the Kardashian now, right? He's with Jenner. Yeah.
Please.
Why are you going to play that role, man? You know, now it's my time to play the role with one of the Jenners.
Yeah, so now he's playing it up.
All right.
He is overexposed. A little bit.
Overexposed. He's kind of obnoxious now, the little kid.
So he's
I like him.
29.
Yeah.
By the time Ray Dunn's 29, you think he'll be a bigger star than Timothy Chalamet?
No.
Dating a Jenner?
No, I don't
Dating a Jenner.
He might date a Jenner granddaughter. Right.
Maybe.
Down the road when he's a big star. May pull a Belichick.
I'm not pulling a Belichick.
All right, so are you sick of Ben Stiller?
I have a soft spot in my heart for Ben Stiller.
Oh, you do? He bugs me.
I've always liked him as an actor.
You have?
I try to ignore.
He's always bugged me as an actor.
Why?
I don't know.
His movies are great.
Yeah, they're great. He's always bugged me. I don't know what it is.
He's had some really good roles, dude. Like the whole Meet the Parents, that whole thing, he was great.
He bugged me in that.
Oh,
I
I
hated Meet the Parents.
His whole shtick is funny to me.
Yeah.
Do you remember a movie back in the day, Heavyweights?
No. I remember Dodgeball, a true underdog story, and that was the end.
Dodgeball was good.
Oh, boy.
Zoolander was good.
Dodgeball's the worst movie that was ever made.
Along Came Polly's another good one.
Along Came Polly was mildly amusing for one scene.
That was good. I've always liked Ben Stiller. And he's you're not a fan of Severance, but that's Ben Stiller's show.
I know it is. That's why I don't like it, because he's involved.
Such a good show.
It's not that good. All right, next.
All right, continuing on here, we'll keep it in the NBA. Kendrick Perkins on First Take yesterday, creating quite the stir, talking about Anthony Edwards and why he can't be the face of the NBA.
Here's the bigger picture, right? You got to check the boxes when you're the face of the league. Yes, we know you got to have your signature shoe. You're going to be in commercials. You're going to have the highlights. You got to have the game. But you know what else you got to have? You got to be a role model, right? And things outside the lines matter. Now, if you go down the list of all the faces of the league in the history of the game, you look at Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, LeBron, Steph. What did they all have in common? While they was playing in the league, they all were family men.
What?
They all were married with kids.
What?
If you think that don't play a role,
they were all cheaters.
As far as the role model, this is fact.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, Perkins.
Yeah, some bad examples mixed in there.
Oh, my God. Michael Jordan.
Magic?
Well, Perkins, you know any history?
Weird examples to give.
That's ridiculous. You gotta be a family man. You don't have to be a family man. God, Anthony, hold your own. First of all, he's not quite the face of the league. Is he the face of the league? Is he the bona fide face of the league right now, Anthony Edwards? He's a good player. He has disappeared in this series.
I don't know. We've had this, if I remember correctly, this came up on the news at
There is no face of the league right now.
A couple of months ago, we were debating whether Anthony Edwards was going to be the face of the league, right? Wasn't this on another topic that we talked about?
Probably. They've tried to push this quite a few times this season. I would say getting outplayed in back-to-back Western Conference Finals probably is the lead reason why you're not the face of the league right now.
Now, do you think that SGA being from Canada is preventing him from being the face of the league? Because SGA would be a good candidate.
SGA playing in Oklahoma City is preventing him from being. And Anthony Edwards is Minnesota.
Yeah, is any better in Minnesota?
No, that doesn't help either. I don't know if we need a face of the league. Why do we need a face of the league? We're miles beyond LeBron and Michael Jordan. Are we not?
I think Mike's just mad that Jalen Brunson's not going to be the face of the league.
Probably.
His beloved Knicks fan.
Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, he wants Cat.
I don't even like Jalen Brunson that much. I like the way the team plays.
Oh, don't backpedal.
Now
you love the Knicks.
Now they've abandoned the way they're not the same. So I'm out. Next.
All right. Last one for you here. Terry Bradshaw going on radio in Little Rock, Arkansas to talk about a number of things in a wide-ranging interview. One of them, the Steelers, and whether he would want Aaron Rodgers to be a Steeler. Here you go.
What do you think about possibly Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback? That's a joke. He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. What are you going to bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man, that guy needs to stay in California and go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the guys out there.
100%. These guys on the show, Mr. Bradshaw, know I'm not a fan of his. We've been around each other personally, and he was not a kind person.
Now, before I get your takeaway on that, Mike, can I guess your takeaway on that?
Go ahead. Guess it.
That host needs to shut up and let Terry Bradshaw deliver the rant on Aaron Rodgers.
Who cares what that guy thinks? I've been around him, and he's not a nice man. Come on, dude. Shut up. Anyway, what was the second thing Bradshaw said after he said, go chew on the bark and do something else?
If it was whisper to the gods?
Whisper to the gods? Is that what he said?
I think that's what it was.
Well, he's right. I couldn't agree with Terry more. Why would you bring him in for 1 year?
Because what do you got? They didn't re-sign Russell Wilson.
Terry's also worried about his legacy. Aaron Rodgers comes in. The
This
last
Aaron
thing people
Rodgers?
remember. Well, the great Aaron Rodgers played for the Steelers also. Maybe Terry's worried about that. As opposed to, who was that guy that wound up playing for the Lions? Charlie Batch. Remember him?
I remember Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch. They've had some bad quarterbacks play. Neil O'Donnell.
Right now, if they go into the season without Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph's their starting quarterback. If they want to compete in the AFC, you got to bring in Rodgers. And I think Rodgers is done.
Rodgers.
I'm not, but he's better than Mason Rudolph.
Maybe not at this point.
They missed the boat. Now, people are saying, I saw circulate in social media, that they should try to make a trade for Kirk Cousins. If they could get Kirk Cousins away from Atlanta, I would do that before Aaron Rodgers. But they need something. You can't go into a season with Mason Rudolph as your starting quarterback.
Play that radio host one more time. Where is this? Oh, it's in Little Rock, Arkansas. Oh God, Little Rock, Little Rock, Arkansas Sports Talk. And Bill Colarulo on the mic. All right, go.
What do you think about possibly Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback? That's a joke. He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. What are you going to bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man, that guy needs to stay in California and go,
Thank
go
you.
somewhere and
you.
chew on bark and whisper to the guys out there.
100%. These guys on the show, Mr. Bradshaw, know I'm not a fan of his. We've been around each other personally, and he was not a kind person.
I'm not a fan of his. At one time, I saw him spit out a hush puppy. Come on, man.
We don't waste hush puppies down here.
610-632-0975. We're back after this.
ESPN's
97.5 The Fanatic. Here's how you get in. It's 610-632-0975 as we continue with general knowledge. And our categories today were NBA MVPs, general knowledge, and song title vocabularies. And the audience with a good showing today. 6 correct answers to Ray's 4.
Ray's getting smoked.
He is getting smoked. Now, Bill, I know that you've been, when I mentioned the story on that Sherry Papini who faked her kidnapping, you watched it, right?
I got about 15 minutes last night into the documentary, the docuseries, and it was getting too late because I did it after the Knicks game. So I'm going to go back and watch. But that was the first time I've ever seen her and heard her speak.
So you know the crux of the story.
I do now, yeah.
All right, so now she served time for lying to the FBI. So she's in jail. She gets out of jail. The husband's sister asked her to live with her.
Yeah, that's weird to me. Now, did they have a good relationship or something?
I don't know. But it's the brother is the aggrieved husband who got fleeced. Is that a violation for the sister to open her door now to the convict woman?
My immediate reaction is yes, it's a violation, but now I'm thinking about it. They had kids together, right?
Yeah.
All right, so she gets out of prison. Maybe she has nowhere to go. She's got no income. I'm assuming she lost her job. She's got to pay restitution and all that other stuff. Maybe the husband says to the sister, listen, she's not living with me, but I don't want her on the street when we got kids. And the sister says, I'll take her in because I want to make sure the kids have a place.
That was not brought up at all. In fact, the sister says that she didn't have a great relationship with the brother.
Interesting, then. Like, the only reason I could see it would be because of the kids. But if not,
it's a violation.
Yeah, major violation.
You're not sticking up for your brother.
You're not sticking up for your brother.
The aggrieved party. The brother's wife fakes a kidnapping, goes with an ex, has sex with him, has the guy brand her, and then all of a sudden she appears on the road in chains and goes back to her happy life.
I mean, you telling me the story, I'm thinking this woman obviously has some issues, but then watching even 15 minutes of the documentary last night and hearing her speak and then hearing her parents speak, yeah, man, she's out there. Like, she doesn't even understand still because she says something like, you've never lied before? All of us have lied. It's like, no.
Yes, all of us have lied.
Yeah, like,
she fakes a kidnapping.
You did a lot more than lie. Yeah. You did a lot more than lie.
They're coyoons on this woman.
And then her mother's like, as soon as she went missing, we immediately thought sex trafficking because she's gorgeous. Yes. It's like, all right, you've been feeding this to this woman her whole life, obviously. She's gorgeous.
All right. OTA news today. Eagles are in OTAs, obviously.
And remember, it's voluntary.
It's voluntary, but the good teams don't have people skip out.
You would think, look, last year, if I remember correctly, there were certain players who maybe were excused at various times if they have other stuff going on. But yes, the big news from today, Bryce Huff isn't there. Now, that's a surprise with a guy that you paid last year in free agency. A very disappointing season, to put it mildly. You would think he'd be there the first day of OTAs, and he's not. That's
Bryce
being reported.
Huff does not want to fight for his job. Bryce Huff wants out. That's what that tells you. And he's putting the Eagles on notice. Yeah, I don't care about your contractual situation. I don't want to play for this fan show. He doesn't appreciate me.
That's a possibility. I mean, that is a possibility. I mean, the other possibility could be, and again, this is just me speculating here, the Eagles could have also told him, look, we're trying to trade you. Like, stay away for now. We're going to try to do something after June 1st.
Could be.
That's also a possibility, too.
Don't get hurt.
Yeah, don't get hurt. Because let me look. I want to look at his contract. I believe the dead money would drop significantly after June 1st. Let me see. So if they traded him post-June 1st, they would actually save $4 million on the cap. If they traded him before June 1st, they would lose 4.7 on the cap. So his dead cap would go from $12 million before June 1st if they trade him to only $3 million if they did trade him. So you're talking about a $9 million difference. There's a chance he gets traded after June 1.
I got to think that's a distinct certainty. All right,
but I think you need him. Like, as crazy as it is, I know he gave you nothing, but you lost Josh Sweat.
Think Fancher thinks that?
Maybe not. But you lost Josh Sweat. Obviously, Brandon Graham retires. I mean, you better hope and pray that Ojulari or Uche can provide you some depth. Like, I'm not expecting Huff to be a major contributor, but Jalix Hunt, how much can he play this year? You expect Nolan Smith to take a lead.
Stoutland. He thinks he can make anybody.
Maybe. Because you also don't know if Jahad Campbell is going to be ready to play, and if he is, does he play a lot of edge, or is he more of an off-ball linebacker? It's going to be interesting to watch.
All right, let's take a break. On the other side, Dom from Williamstown wants to roast Ray.
I don't know what this is about.
I'm hanging on the edge of my seat here. Ray, you all right?
I've already been roasted by the sun once this week. I could take it again.
All right. 610-632-0975. We still got general knowledge for you. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies beat the Braves. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies won 2-0 last night over the Braves behind 6 shutout innings from Ranger Suarez. Orion Kirkring, Matt Strom, and Jordan Romano combined for 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Phillies able to scratch across 2 runs despite Bryce Harper being drilled with a fastball in the elbow in the first inning. He left the game. X-rays afterwards came back negative. And Rob Thompson was asked postgame about his concern for his superstar.
I don't know. We'll have to reevaluate in the morning, but the X-rays were negative, and he's certainly in a lot of pain. So whenever one of your top hitters or your best hitter gets hit like that, there's always some concern, but he's a tough guy too.
The Phillies Braves, weather pending, play again tonight at 6:45 with AJ Smith-Shawver and Zach Wheeler matching up on the mound. Eagles have their second day of OTAs today. Should be out in the practice field right now. Someone that's not out in the practice field reportedly is Bryce Huff, the edge rusher. Not there for today's session open to the media. Kevin Patulo met with the media earlier today. We carried that presser live for you here on the Mike Missanelli Show. And tonight on the Fanatic, Union on the road against Toronto. First place club kicks off tonight at 7:30. You can listen to the live call of the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like 2025 E-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, EQE Sedan. Hurry it now through July 31st. Learn more at mbusa.com/dream. I'm Ray Dunn in your home for NBA playoff action, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
25. Oh yeah, I missed that play. I missed watching Quentin Grimes in the NBA playoffs.
I'm going to ask you something about, since you brought it up. Quentin Grimes, NBA playoffs.
You're a player.
Listen,
you're your man.
As good as the Pacers have looked, don't you see though that the East is not that dominant? Like, we know that the Celtics, their team's going to get all broken apart. We don't know Jason Tatum, how healthy he'll be or when he'll be healthy. I know we need a lot of things to happen from a health perspective with the Sixers, but the Eastern Conference, I don't see them as this massive powerhouse where it's going to be impossible for the Sixers to get back on top. Or I shouldn't even say back on top.
What? Back on top?
I shouldn't say back on top. That's a bad way to put it because they haven't been on top in a long time.
What should you say? Competitive for an Eastern Conference title?
Yes.
You see that?
Yes.
With the Sixers.
When you look at these teams, do you really think that they're that dominant?
Are you like? Is there some reality in your world that includes the Joel Embiid of prime and the Paul George of prime? Like, what are you looking at? What can possibly happen with guys that are past their prime?
I know we need them to be healthy. I get it. Joel has to be healthy. Paul George has to be healthy.
Prime.
But look, if you put a team, just bear with me for a second. Let's pipe dream for a second. If Embiid's healthy and Paul George is healthy, and they give you, if Embiid can give you something close to what he gave you before the knee injury. Like, remember, he was averaging 30-something points a game in the playoffs last year. And then Paul George, who we haven't really seen. I mean, we assume it's just because he doesn't care. He cared in his contract year. So if it's really just heart, maybe he cares this year. And then you surround them with Maxey and McCain and Grimes and Yabusele and maybe a couple other pieces. I don't think that they can't compete in the East. The East isn't – the Celtics we thought were the team you needed to beat. Going into this season, no one's going to be able to beat the Celtics. That's not going to be the case next year. And do you really look at the Pacers and say, yeah, they're going to be completely unbeatable?
Did you bite on a mushroom during the commercial?
Ray, come on, bear with me here, Ray. What? Do you look at the Eastern Conference and say, no, like it's impossible now for a team to get out of the Eastern Conference?
The reality of the East is that it's not that great. The reality of the Sixers also right now does not feel not that great.
That's
if you
fair.
Get a 100th percentile Sixers outcome and you get like 50th percentile like Eastern Conference power reality, maybe we're talking about something. The reality is there's a lot of ifs on the Sixers side for us to start talking about them being back on top.
All this was precipitated by you playing Grimes.
It was.
Yeah, I'm sorry I ever did that.
Got me excited.
Let's get to Dom, who wants to roast.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Dom, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Dom?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm actually in the hospital right now, and
that's not good.
Actually didn't have. Well, we're going to get there. Okay. I had no intention. I was just happily listening to your show, and I had no. First of all, Ray doesn't know what's coming. Ray and I have been down this road for years. I am a huge Ray Dunn guy.
Who isn't? Who isn't?
Who isn't a Ray Dunn guy? Right.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But I'm actually glad that I could seek counsel because I believe you'll be on the same side as me. I've been, right. You can't be, Mike. I go back to you since you and Steve. You can't be on the Mike Missanelli show in the city of Philadelphia and use the term pro-Celtic. You can't do that. It's a violation.
Well,
and Ray knows that. Ray is my man. You know that. How many times we talk about this, Ray?
Dom, I knew exactly what you were calling for. You think I didn't know what you were about to hit me with? I saw the right hook coming from a mile away on this one. You heard pro-Celtic, and you went right to the phone to come after me for this one.
I got an IV in my arm, and I'm dialing the number.
Dom, I hope you feel better.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, is there anything more reprehensible to be than being pro-Celtic?
Yeah, no.
Pro-Nick is close, though, Dom.
No, it's not as close.
I got to tell you, my number 2 team, I'm very anti-Pacer. As a matter of fact, Mike, and I'll be very quick with this, the only time I'm 61, the only time I ever got yelled at any game I was ever at, was at a Pacers-Sixers game.
Really?
My brother got me terrific seats, 4 rows behind the Pacers bench, and I was all over Bird the entire game.
Oh.
and
Larry
finally
Legend?
they had to.
You were on Larry
Mike,
Legend?
All over him. I called him a hick. I called him a redneck. Mike, you know what got the guy didn't budge the whole. You know what made him turn around and give me the icy eyes?
What?
I said, you can't win a fight in Philadelphia. Doc lit you up like a Christmas tree. He hit you with so many lefts. He hit you with so many lefts. You were begging with a right, and that's what got to him, Mike. I called him everything.
You challenged his machismo.
I called him everything. What's that?
You challenged his machismo. He didn't like that.
Oh, he turned around, and if he could have burned a hole through my head.
Wow.
But that's what got to him.
Wow,
and then the usher had to come and tell me to sit down and shut the heck up.
So I'm surprised you didn't get tossed. Back then, you had immunity, I guess. Larry Legend.
They didn't toss me. I never used profanity, Mike. But I was loud game. So anyway, that's why I call it. I think it's a huge violation to be.
Yeah,
don't you agree with me?
Yeah. Knicks were
the
Knicks were a working class team, right? That's why you can appreciate them. The Celtics are the elitist snobs.
And the Knicks never did anything. The Knicks were never good when we were good. The Knicks never stood in our way.
Exactly.
The great barrier to championships, more than the Cowboys, you can name whatever team you want.
Correct.
The great barrier to us getting championships was the Boston Celtics my whole
You're
life.
correct, Dom. Hey, Dom, while you're in the hospital bed, and I hope things work out for you, would you like to play General Knowledge and have some fun?
Sure.
All right. This is NBA MVPs. All right, and here's the question.
NBA MVP?
NBA MVP. So I'm right in your wheelhouse. What? From the years 1987 to 1992, 6 straight MVPs came from Michael and Magic. Who was the man who broke that streak in 1993?
I think it was Charles Barkley.
That is correct, Dom.
Sir Charles.
Hold on a second. Dom comes up big from the hospital bed. Ray. There were 2 MVPs, multi-winning MVPs, before the Michael Jordan Magic Johnson string. Who were they?
2 guys that won multiple MVPs?
Multiple MVPs before we got to Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. From 82 to 86.
82 to 86. Larry Bird.
That's 1.
All right. And I'll go Dr. J.
Oh, Ray. It was not Dr. J, but it was another famous Sixer.
Oh, Moses?
It was Moses. 2 straight MVPs, 1 in 82 with the Rockets, and then in 83 with your 76ers.
Ray's getting smoked today, unfortunately.
He is. The audience has 7 to Ray's 4.
7 to 4. By the way, something sparked in my head when Dom was saying he didn't get thrown out of the game for heckling Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Did you see what happened last night in the Braves bullpen?
No, what happened?
So a fan was heckling Strider.
Yeah.
And who was the coach, Ray? Who's the coach for the Braves?
Eddie Perez?
I think it was Eddie Perez.
Yeah, former catcher.
Yeah, Eddie Perez goes over to security and makes them tell the fan that he's going to get ejected if he stops heckling. It's part of the game, man. It's part of home field advantage, isn't it?
By the way, I was there for the playoff game in that spot, overlooking Strider's warm-up tosses, and they were relentless.
And did they try to get the fan ejected then?
They did not.
Man, that all part of it?
Well, I think they changed the landscape because they want to protect the bullpens a little more now. They put them in that protective...
until they come out to warm up, right?
Yeah.
They're hidden until they come out to warm up, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I think you should be able to heckle.
Should be why? They're concentrating on their job.
Yeah, but that's part of home field advantage, isn't it? Look, if you start to curse or you start to get too personal, I can understand telling the people to calm down. But if you're just like, boo... Like, apparently...
It's childish.
Apparently, it's going to be a long night, Strider. They were yelling stuff like that to him.
That's childish.
But
respect good players.
I think heckling's fair.
I respect good players. If there's a guy who has rubbed you the wrong way in Philadelphia, well, what's Strider ever done in Philadelphia? What did he have to say?
Well,
he said there should be no fans.
Well, he didn't say that about Philly in particular.
No,
he said that in general. Yeah.
All right, 610-632-0975. He sounds like a nice gent, though. We'll play his sorrow for hitting Bryce Harper after this.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
They play short here. Quick saw.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. I think I'm going to do a video after the show on for our website on the unwritten rules of baseball.
You should. You should. And once you write them down and read them, we'll realize how stupid some of them are.
A lot of them are stupid.
I just think that...
You want to hear one?
Let me hear one of them.
You're on the right side of the diamond. You're going to home plate. You're trying to get to the right-hander's batter's box. you cross in front of the catcher to do so.
It's a violation. You got to go behind the catcher.
Oh.
That's
All of a sudden you agree with an unwritten rule of baseball.
That one doesn't bother me as much.
Oh, that
as some of the
doesn't
others.
bother you. How about stealing with a 7-run lead?
Well, that's what got. I think that's why Ricky threw at Barry.
Uh-huh.
Right?
See? You take care of that stuff.
So those I'm not as offended by because I understand you're getting shown up.
So your star player gets plunked with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in his surgically repaired elbow, and that doesn't move you.
Inadvertently. See, one of the unwritten rules of baseball that I hate is that you can't show the pitcher up when you hit a home run. Like, you're not allowed to celebrate too hard.
That's over.
That better be over.
No, that's over. That's been over for a really long time. You know what the celebrations go on now.
Yeah, because you should be able to. I think in a sport where, like Major League Baseball doesn't do a great job of promoting their star players. Like, you don't necessarily know about, like in basketball, I think NBA does a good job. They don't do a lot well.
They're the best at it.
But they're the best at creating star
Sure
players.
they are.
And I think baseball has lacked in that area.
You got to be a baseball player who's willing to do that. See, baseball players are more modest than most other star players. Baseball players know that if you get too carried away, baseball will bite you in the ass. That's why they don't do it.
But look at Rhys Hoskins, man. Like, a lot of the reason we love him, not only because he was here a long time, was the bat spike. That bat spike is iconic now.
That came in a big moment. It was a special circumstance. I'm talking about in general. Baseball players are very reluctant to get carried away because they know baseball can get them back quickly.
Yeah, it is a game of failure, as they say.
Give me some OTA action.
All right, so some interesting things. Look, you can gain some information here. It's still early. They're not in full pads, but they are doing some 11-on-11 and a 7-on-7 drill. So this one's interesting. In the first team defense for the 7-on-7 drills, obviously Quinyon Mitchell was starting at the one cornerback position. At the other cornerback position was Adoree Jackson. So Cooper DeJean still at the nickel, which I think is the right move. I think you should make him your nickel corner. Don't move him outside. But then we were wondering who's going to be the starting corner now that Slay's gone and Isaiah Rodgers is gone. As of today, Adoree Jackson with the first team.
Is that their best team, you think? Because I know you're a big Keely Ringo fan.
I am. I've been high on Keely Ringo, and for whatever reason, he's been unable to win the job. I mean, obviously last year you had Slay, but he wasn't even the number 2. Rodgers was the number 2. So we'll see. I think it's Adoree Jackson versus Keely Ringo, but they're going with the veteran. Adoree's older than Keely Ringo, has more starting experience than Keely Ringo. But that'll be an interesting battle to watch. And then no Reed Blankenship there today. He's not practicing today. I think he's there. He's just not practicing. So your starting safeties today were both Sidney Brown and Drew Makuba, the rookie.
And what was wrong with Blankenship?
It just says he's not practicing. So I don't know why he's not practicing, but he's not
What,
practicing.
he had podcast responsibility? Was he an exciting white today?
I don't know. Hold on. I just said that, and now there's new updates.
Oh.
Cooper DeJean is now starting at the outside corner. So, I just said he's going to be at the nickel. So who knows? You got to see. And now you got.
I would love to see Cooper DeJean as a starting corner.
But I want him to start. The nickel corner is essentially a starter in today's NFL.
But I want him to prove that he can be a starting cornerback in the league.
There hasn't been a white outside corner.
Correct.
When? Ever? When was the last time?
Not my lifetime.
I think it was Jason Sehorn was the last one for the New York Giants way back in the day.
It's been a while.
Married the DA from Law and Order.
I'm going to see if
Angie Harmon.
Also, one other thing of news we got today, and I think it was local radio that had to have voted on this. Mm-hmm. Brandon Graham got the Good Guy Award winner from the Professional Football Writers of America for his dealings with local and national media during the previous season.
Uh-huh.
That was just voted on by us because he gave us a week of content, right?
It's an easy choice.
He's a great guy. Nothing against it, but dealings with media in previous season, didn't he create an entire controversy?
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
So do we just throw that out when we vote for him?
But that controversy was good for the media.
So is that what we're doing?
I think we rewarded him for that.
Okay, got it. I want to make sure we're all rewarding him for the right reason.
We rewarded him for the right reason. Anything that gives us content.
And good job by you, Michael. it said according to AI, the last white cornerback to consistently play for an NFL team was Jason Sehorn for the Giants.
Where'd he go to college?
He was a Trojan, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Look at the big brain on Bill.
Let's
go to Jamie in D.C. Jamie, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Jamie.
What's going on, fellas? How's everybody today?
Good. Jamie, how you doing?
Doing well, doing well. I didn't get a chance last time I was on. I was supposed to talk about horse racing because we said that the Preakness. Did anyone enjoy that race last, I guess it was 2 weeks ago. Anybody enjoy the Preakness?
Yeah, Preakness kind of fell under the shadow, you know? But Jay,
I thought it was,
journalist, that was my guy.
Yeah. So what are you going to do in the Belmont?
Is he gonna run in the Belmont, journalist?
Well, we got 2 weeks for him to scratch, but
it's a long race for the horse. I think I might take him to stud after a win.
All right, I like that. Hey, you mentioned he might be a gent because he's not a psycho or a sociopath, huh? Strider, he said he's not trying to hit people in their head. That pitch got away from him. Did you hear that?
Yeah, we're gonna play it. He's a kind gent. We're gonna play that in a couple seconds after I give you a general knowledge question.
All right, what you got?
Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. If a doctor orders 5 cc's of a medicine, what does cc stand for?
Milliliters.
Oh, no, incorrect. Sorry, bro. Millimeters.
Said that with authority.
That would be mm. This is cc. Cubic centimeters.
Well, Ray, would you have gotten that?
No, I can tell you I would have let the time run out because I wouldn't have guessed millimeters, but...
Yeah.
You know, there was an old band called 10cc.
And that was about centimeters?
You know what? I want you to look up 10cc. I can't say it on the air.
But you're going to make me look it up.
I'm going to make you look it up so you look everything up. The band was called 10cc. What were they named after? In the meantime, let's go to my man, Spencer Strider, after the game, feeling remorseful. And you saw the fake fret on his face after he did it. He looked like he was really concerned when Bryce was down. So here was Spencer Strider after the game.
Certainly not trying to hit him. And, yeah, I thought in the moment, I just assumed he had a guard on and, was just pissed that I hit him and then saw him in pain, and that was tough. So I'm definitely relieved that he's okay. And, he's one of the best players this century, so needs to be on the field. It's best for the game. And it's good for us. It's good to compete against him. Of course, I'm not a complete sociopath, so I have some empathy. So, I do feel bad for him to see a person in pain that I caused. So, but I've still got a job to do, and I think try to realize that was one pitch. So certainly not indicative of how I was pitching or how I planned to pitch. And unfortunately, there's even the most accurate guys can let one go here and there, and so I know he knows that, and I hope he knows there's obviously nothing personal. It's not intentional. Glad that he's okay.
A very gentlemanly answer by Spencer Strider. However, one of your teammates should have gotten it back, Spence, because no matter what your intentions were, your intention was to pitch inside to him, to cuff him, to get under his hands a little bit. So you do that and you miss and you hit a guy. Guess what? Star player out of the game, your guy got to go down and go down hard, Bill.
I just think with how hard these pitchers throw in today's world, I know this sounds weak to some. I just think that we should be past throwing at each other, man.
God, totally weak of you.
I just don't like it.
You used to be a macho man.
I don't like it. Speaking of macho men, I looked up what 10cc means.
Yeah? You did, huh?
Yes. Very macho men.
All right.
I guess.
Okay, that was the name of the band.
Interesting name.
And the song they played that did was "I'm Not in Love."
Oh, I know that jam.
Don't forget it.
Yeah,
right?
I know that one.
That's 10cc.
I know that one. By the way, I just want to clarify something because I said that Adoree Jackson starting outside corner and all that.
Let's get the right story now. Let's get it right.
Well, that was the case in 7-on-7. Now the tweets are going crazy with the base defense, who's starting, who's not. So we really can't look too much into it. It's day one. So there's a lot of people starting at various positions right now. Like Makuba's getting first-team reps. DeJean's getting first-team reps. Ringo's getting first-team reps.
They're just trying some guys out.
Yeah, so it seems like they're trying a lot of people out.
All right, that's fair.
So we'll see. But I guess they got OTAs, looks like today, They had it yesterday. They come back next week, and they got it June 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Then there's a mandatory minicamp June 10th, and then we won't hear from them again until training camp, man.
All right. Do we have any word on tonight's Phillies game, by the way?
Not yet, which is annoying for fans. If they're going to rain this thing out, they should have done it because it doesn't look like it's going to
I hate
clear
this
up.
spring, man. This spring has been the worst. Can you remember a worse spring?
No. It's been pretty bad.
Terrible.
But what are you up to? If the Phillies aren't on tonight, you got anything going on tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to a concert.
Oh, look at you. Do you know Mike goes out more than us, Ray?
True.
And like for me, I'm in that age where I got to be on. I got the kids.
You know, I'm a big fan of the band The National.
Yes.
Well, the lead singer, Matt Berninger, is doing a solo tour. I always wondered how that works with the band. Like, he's done a couple other projects with other people. Like, what does he bring his own band? And if so, like, how do the other band members feel about it? It's very odd.
It's interesting. It's interesting. You got to
because I'm used to seeing him with the National has a great chemistry with band. They have two sets of twins in the band, and they've been playing together for a really long time. They're a really close band. And my man goes out on solo. They're probably going, no, I'm not going out with you.
You said it's Berninger tonight. Is who's doing it?
Matt Berninger. Yeah,
Berninger. Look, ego's the enemy, man. Maybe they're like, you know what, Matt? We know this is important to you.
Yeah. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to go on a solo tour? You got your band behind you.
Now, is it
successful with that?
Is it just him acoustic?
No.
So is he going to have other people playing instruments?
He's just a singer, so he's got to have a backing band.
Yes, that's a little weird.
He doesn't play,
so he's going to have to hire people to play the instruments instead of his band.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird, isn't it? You got to find a whole new band to go out on tour with,
unless they don't want to go out on tour.
Well, if they went out on tour, it would be called the National.
Yeah, so maybe
he wants to get his solo in there.
All right, so you're going to be tired tomorrow? Is that what you're telling us?
I'm going to be exhausted because I had a doctor appointment early in the morning, too.
So we're going to have a cranky Mike tomorrow, Ray?
Yeah, I'll give him no crankier than today.
Yeah, because your Knicks lost last night.
Well, forget about the Knicks. I'm talking about the lack of retaliation that I witnessed last night.
All right, before we get out of here, we got a winner for General Knowledge.
Ian Cohen is the General Knowledge winner today. Congratulations to Ian. And he wins a pair of tickets to both days of the Grand Slam Track League this Saturday and Sunday at Franklin Field at the University of Penn. Don't miss your favorite runners going head-to-head. The ultimate track showdown for the largest prize pool ever offered in the sport. Some cash is involved in this situation. Single day and combo tickets are on sale now at GrandSlamTrack.com. So congratulations to Ian Cohen. And thanks to everybody for participating on the show today, listening to the show. Have a great rest of the night in this crappy weather. Ray, have a good rest of the night. Bill, have a good rest of the night. Stay tuned. Ricky Batalico is going to tell you why there should have been retaliation. See you tomorrow.